It's such a shame that the battle themes in PQ2 don't, like, have an actual ending and they just kind of fade out. Because they're such good songs. Alright, let's see. Where did we leave off last time? Season 1, episode 31. Looks like we've got 5 episodes to go of Season 1, and then it will get into Season 2, either today or tomorrow. Alrighty. Sorry, Minako. I gotta shut you up real quick. And let's change the window. Oh. There we go. Hold on. Let's pull up Chrome 2. There we go. And we should be all set. Get that in theater mode. That's probably a little bit too loud. Alrighty, that should be good. Can I turn Jet up just a smidge, maybe? Nah, I think that's a good balance. Never mind.
Paul, Jet's throwing me awfully worried about Granny.
What's she doing? Nothing. Just sitting in the kitchen,
rocking and staring at the wall. Episode 31.
Yeah, I noticed Granny kind of drooping this morning. I reckon she misses Pearl. But them two was always scrapping. I reckon that's what she misses. You know, Granny's a lot like
I always
that band of yours,
forget that
Ellie.
Ellie Mae's name is spelled with a Y. I always think that it's E-L-L-I-E.
Considerable to throw Aunt Pearl out of her kitchen.
Yeah, Granny don't want no one cooking in there except her. Pietro, I think you just come up with an idea. I did.
There we go.
Ellie will go out there and act like she's going to fix up a mess of victuals. That'll get Granny's hackles up.
That's gonna get Ellie Mae's ass kicked is what it's gonna do.
I know it's against your nature, and I know how much you love your Granny. But for her own sake, I want you to try to be real spiteful. Try to get her riled up.
Do it, Paul.
Hey, Uncle Jed, can I go too? After all, it was my idea.
God, that's loud.
Wasn't it?
There we go.
And take that Benny along with you.
That should be better now.
Riles Granny more than chickens in the kitchen.
Yeah, that sounds about good.
What?
The name of the episode title is The Clampets Entertain. I wonder if it has anything to do with, it was either the previous episode or the one before that where Granny was talking about they don't have, like, a lot of friends come over because they don't know anybody in Beverly Hills. So judging by the name of the title, they're probably going to have, like, dinner guests or something like that, even though they have Mr. Drysdale and Miss Hathaway over pretty regularly. It's not always of their own volition, rather they stop by because of something that the Clampets did, but they're still over nonetheless, and they usually just stay for dinner.
I'll help you.
At least they stay for dinner frequently enough for Mr. Drysdale to know what Granny makes most of the time.
We don't care what Granny don't allow.
We's gonna cook us some victuals anyhow. Jethro, is that a chicken you're holding? Yes, sir. Well, you better get shed of it right away. No, I mean outside. Ain't nothing riles Granny more than chickens in her kitchen.
Obviously.
This is worse than I thought.
Don't nothing rile her up.
We gotta try harder. Ellie Mae, what you figuring on cooking?
Grits.
Grits? Why,
I wonder if Granny's taught Ellie Mae to cook anything.
I know, Paul, but them was the worst mess of grits anybody ever cooked.
Well, heck, I ate 4 great big heaping books. Ellie Mae, Clampett.
Granny's not likely to fall for this, Jed. You know as well as I do that she's a lot smarter than this.
Child is right, kid. I can't do nothing no more. I ain't worth the powder to blow me up with. Granny, I didn't mean it. Paul made me say it. This was the best.
Yeah, it's all Jed's fault, huh, Ellie Mae?
It was, Granny. Like I was going to tell you. I ate 4 great big bowls. But Uncle Jed, he wouldn't let me tell you. And he made me throw that chicken on you, too.
I don't blame Jed for wanting to get rid of me.
Nobody said they wanted to get rid of you, Granny.
I ain't good for nothing or nobody. My time has come.
Now, Granny, hold on there.
No, no, Jet. Just do me one favor. Send me back home. I don't want to die in this foreign country.
A foreign state, not a country, Granny.
Pa, you ain't gonna let Granny. Don't try to shield me from him, young'uns. Just make it quick and merciful, Jed.
Jeez.
Polax me.
Well, I sure made a mess of that. Come on, maybe we can think of something if we go outside and put our two chicken brains together. Oh, come on, Uncle Jet. You wait here. I'll go and see Mr. Drysdale.
I asked Miss Jane to come to supper, too.
Well, if you're going to be there, Jethro, you know as well as I do that she's going to say yes.
Well, it's always a pleasure to see you, Mr. Clampett. Sit down, sit down.
Thank you.
Well, now, what can I do for you?
Well, I got a little problem.
Well, your problems are my problems. What's troubling my favorite depositor?
Well, who?
You, Mr. Clampett, you.
Oh. Well, you see, it's great.
Oh.
That poor little old woman is feeling lower than a fat frog in a dry well.
Well, now, we must do something to cheer her up.
Indeed, we must.
You see, back home, we just have...
I like how they're
a bunch
just
of
getting
neighbors
used to
in and
Jed's
have us a
idioms
do.
now.
Ain't nothing pleasures Granny more than doing for folks.
Doing?
Yeah, you know.
Cooking.
Mopping up a big feed,
Yeah.
tapping the keg of her cider, seeing everybody has plenty to eat and drink and has a good time.
Can't Granny do that here?
Well, you folks is about the only ones we know.
We'll be
Yeah,
happy
they
to
don't
stop.
really
Just say
know
when.
anybody else aside from, like,
You know
Mrs.
better.
Drysdale, and obviously they're not going to be able to
Right,
socialize with
Beverly.
her.
Miss Drysdale
Speaking
is
of which,
Yes, she is, and
where's
she'll be
Pearl?
delighted to come.
Not that I'm complaining she's gone. I'm glad she's gone. And there's Mrs. Drysdale. I just jinked myself with all the worst characters in the episode, didn't I?
With my fine old Boston background, sitting down to dine with those prehistoric hillbillies. Milburn, I have told you repeatedly, I will not mingle socially with the Clampetts.
And I have told you repeatedly that their money is the pillar of this bank.
Money isn't everything.
Only if you have plenty, which you will not unless you go to Granny's dinner because I will cut off your allowance. Blimey.
You brute. Associating with Jed Clampett has made you the same kind of a man that he is.
Good.
Oh, no, Margaret. If I were the kind of man Jed Clampett is, I wouldn't waste time talking. Oh, no. I would put you...
Especially not with
my
the likes of
knees
you.
And paddle your fine old Boston background.
Jesus.
Drysdale, this is indeed
Spousal
a
abuse
great
isn't
birthday.
funny.
Guess who has
Spousal
just
abuse
landed
isn't
on the
funny.
Well, it's a little early for Santa Claus.
Spousal abuse isn't funny.
No, indeed. It's our distinguished chairman of the board, Mr. Morton Van Ransehorst.
What? Well, I thought he was on the world.
Morton Van what?
He's anchored his yacht off Balboa and helicoptered in to see you.
Mr. Van Ransehorst. Marty Milburn, call me Marty. You know Mrs. Drysdale. Oh, yes, of course. Congratulations.
Congratulations for
For
what?
what?
Well, I think you should be the first to know I'm elevating
Oh.
your husband to the board of directors. Board of directors?
It's,
Yes, well, he deserves it. Any man that can land the Clampett account.
Thurston
My
Howell
kind of
III.
bank.
God, what's his
And
actor's
I want
name?
2 million dollars a day having dinner on my yacht. Oh, thank you. We'd be delighted. I have a new French chef.
Jim Backus. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Darling, have you forgotten that we're dining with the Clampetts this evening?
Oh, well,
And
no,
this was,
no, no,
1963, so I think this was
There's one
before
now,
Gilligan.
J.D. Clampett, business genius, financial wizard, shrewd, calculating, incisive.
Mr. Clampett?
Yeah, because Gilligan's Island was 1964, so this was a year before.
I did? Yes, right after you landed the account. Oh, that, yes. Well, he's still the same kind of man, isn't he?
Hell yeah.
Of course, certainly.
It's always good to see a familiar face.
Crude.
What was that? Shrewd. Thank you, Margaret. That's just the word I was looking for. Come on, dear. I'm sure you
I mean,
want to
Mr.
run out
Howell
and buy
can live
yourself a
on
new wardrobe
an
and
island
celebrate
with
your husband's
people that are
promotion.
quote-unquote more
Find something
unrefined than
you're
him. I think that Mrs. Drysdale would be able to survive living next to the Clampetts.
Now you see what trouble mingling with the lower classes can bring. What do you intend to do?
Just what any decent, sensible man would do who has lied his way into trouble. I'm going to lie my way out.
Deny, deny, deny.
Van Ranshoff. Marty.
Oh.
Yes, Marty. Well, the Clampetts won't be able to have dinner with us on your yacht. Oh, why not?
Well, it was foolish of me to forget this, but They're rather susceptible to seasickness, sort of a family characteristic.
I should just start writing Drysdale instead of Mr. Drysdale, because it makes notes take too long.
Compared to mine, the Vanderbilts have a rowboat. The whole dining saloon is as solid as this building.
Just being near the ocean upsets them.
I don't know why I'm so slow.
I was gonna fly the entire Lido to Paris.
How do you spell yacht?
Yacht?
Isn't that right?
No? What's a meal without some atmosphere, huh?
YCHT.
Just one of those things.
Now, I'll tell you what you do, Jane. Charter me a jet. See, we'll fly everywhere to Hawaii, have a little luau.
Okay, but Drysdale
It'll be a ball.
I'm sorry, they're also subject to
rejects
marriage
for.
Just can't have an
God
ordinary
damn
dinner
it,
for a
dude.
sophisticated man of the world like J.D.
Rejects for the
Sophisticated man of the world.
That's
Clampets.
what Milburn says. Bon vivant, international financier. Those were your exact words.
They were? Oh, they were, yeah. I tell you what, I haven't done
It's
that
like
in years.
Open Office doesn't like working in tandem with any other
And I'll get the galley
program,
crew and the chef.
because actively typing on it. It might be because of the window capture screwing it up, because it's typing like
Last time I did this was
astoundingly slow, and it's not just because I haven't written in a while. At least I don't think it is.
I tell you, the Duke and Duchess, it really was embarrassing. What's the matter?
They get train sick, too.
Well, how do these people travel? In space capsules?
In a truck.
Just don't stand there. Come up with an idea.
I'm racking my brain, believe me.
Well, rack harder, because Granny's falling deeper into her depression, and we don't want to see that. We hate to see it.
I learned Earl a new trick. He's a dead rooster. Dog. Just put his bows in a pine box and send us home for burying.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Really, Dad? He's just playing. Look at this. See?
She tries to lift his head up, but his head just falls all the way back down.
Telling me? You best stop playing with that chicken. You got lots to do.
What, Paul?
Oh, cooking for company, that's what. We're having a big doing.
Well, who's all coming?
Well, Miss
Mr.
Hathaway,
Drysdale, Miss Hathaway,
Miss Drysdale,
and Miss
I don't know.
Drysdale ain't coming. We all know that.
Well, the fanciest spread ever. Jethro's out right now getting some fresh victuals. I reckon you can start heating the water for the owl soup, and I'll go down to the cellar and fetch up some salted possum.
Hell yeah.
Everybody, we's having a do. I'm gonna do the doing. Now, you may get this chicken out of here. Nothing bothers me like chickens in my kitchen. And the rest of you scat too. Ellie Mae, you set the table in the fancy eating room. Kid, you go cut me some fresh greens. Oh, we're going to have a doing for the folks next door. I'll make 'em up a possum and plenty victuals more. We'll have a keg of cider and a little Mountain Dew, and we'll all have ourselves up. Hullabaloo.
Now that's the Granny we know.
Look, there's a place out here called the Coliseum, isn't there?
Yes, it's a stadium.
Oh, good, good. We'll hire it for the night. Tell you what, we'll have a Roman bacchanal, see? All the guests will wear togas. They'll have laurel wreaths in their hair.
Marty,
What is it with rich people in old television shows and wanting to hold a bacchanalia?
Chinese. That's a rent the theater, you understand? Have all the guests dressed in kimonos, and we'll have dinner out in the forecourt. Oh, and by the way, Jane, get me some fresh cement. I'll bet you Jet
Fresh
Clampett
cement?
never put his footprints in wet cement while eating fried shrimp.
What?
Oh, I know what you're going to say. That's the trouble with fellas like Clampett.
Is that a
Been
thing?
everywhere. We've done everything. There just are no new thrills.
You put your feet in wet cement while eating shrimp.
Excluded family. They never go out.
Say, by the way, you're going there for dinner tonight, aren't you?
They, yeah, I guess they never really went out anywhere beforehand, too.
No, don't call.
Well, why not?
Well, they don't like to talk on the telephone. Now, I'll go up there in person and speak to them on your behalf.
Oh, good boy, good boy.
Ow.
Look, just in case, I better get a date for tonight. Get me Liz Taylor on the telephone.
I believe she's in Europe.
Judge of Gabor. Paula Bridgerton married. Susan Hayward married. Jane Mansfield married.
Jane Hathaway. Single.
Yeah, but you're going to the Clampett's house, Miss Hathaway. So why are you,
Yeah, Shirley MacLaine married.
Mr. Van Ranserhoff, I think I should tell you that I already have an invitation to the Clampetts for dinner tonight. We are very good friends. Very close.
Really?
Yeah, with Jethro.
Oh, would you mind turning around?
What? First of all, why are you complying,
married?
Jane? Secondly, why the
I think
fuck are
should
you
also
doing it
know
like
the
that?
Clampetts do not, as they say, cotton to strangers.
Miss Hathaway, let me say that you have a date for this evening.
Jolly good. But,
Wonderful.
word of caution. The fact that I have appeared eager might lead you to believe that I am a girl with whom you could take liberties. Nothing could be further from the truth. I permit no familiarity on the first date.
Bless you, my girl.
Why do you want to
can't tell you
date?
how sorry
Jethro's
I
going to
am,
be
Mr.
there.
Clampett,
We
but
know
you
how
see, Mr.
infatuated
Van
she is
Ransom
with
is my
Jethro.
Well, bring him along. Granny's got plenty of possum and grits and owl soup.
Well, I'd love to bring him, but he has dinner planned on his yacht, and I have to do what he wants. I'm terribly sorry.
Well, so am I. Poor Granny is going to be like a mule kick to her.
Yeah.
No, tell her we'll come tomorrow night.
Considering that
Tomorrow
put
morning for
Granny
breakfast if she likes, but
in a better
tonight I
mood.
have to
Like,
be
yeah,
with
that's
Mr.
going to
Van
be a pretty
Ransom.
big blow if she finds
Well,
out
I
that people aren't
understand.
coming today.
Thank you, Mr. Clampett.
I mean, yeah, she'll
Thank you,
definitely
sir.
have a hell of a lot leftovers for tomorrow.
Better not bring these into Granny just yet. When she hears the news, she's liable to commence flinging them.
Give him a line, kid. Just heard the news.
Simmer down, Granny. You can't catch Mr. Drysdale. He done gone.
What do I want to catch him for? Coming back here tonight with Miss Jane and Mr. Rancy off.
Is Mr. Rancy Hoff coming here?
Sure he
Yeah.
is. Miss Jane just called to see if he got the invite. I said, shucks, he don't need no invite. Just bring him along.
Yeah.
Hey, doggy. If Mr. Rancy Hoff
Clampets
is
aren't
coming,
formal
then they's
people.
all
You don't
good.
need
He's
an
the boss.
invite. They have food aplenty.
Gonna have a doing for folks next door. Jane and Mr. Rancy off with that base floor. Take a cider and a little Mountain Dew, and we'll all have ourselves a hullabaloo.
What do you mean?
I wonder if the
Ransom
Commerce
Hall's
Bank
going
of
to Clampett?
Beverly
I'll be
Hills is a real
exposed, I'll be
place.
ruined.
Chief, veritas vincit omnia.
If that's the name of a poison, get me some.
See? Truth conquers all. Tell Mr. Van Ranselhoff the truth. Admit that you deceived him.
No, but the
You know
file
what
for
happened to
the
last
Commerce
man who
Bank of
admitted that to
Beverly
Ransom
Hills
Hoff? He is now
is
working at the bank
saved
at
as
Moose
a
Jaw, Alaska.
a Flickr photo
Dog sled.
for some reason,
I have an idea.
which is very strange.
I am Mr. Van Ranselhoff's date tonight. I'll tell him the truth. I'll pick a romantic moment and seal it with a kiss.
Are you kidding? He has a bank north of Moose Jaw.
Wait till you see the divine gown I purchased. It was designed especially for an evening on a yacht.
We'll take it back and try to get something as good
The
for a
closest
day on a
location
dog sled.
to what used to be known as the Commerce Bank of Beverly Hills, California, is the University Credit Union. Huh.
Say, what a place, huh?
A veritable palace.
I hope this isn't one of those dull, stuffy, formal parties, you know. Last week I went to one in Buckingham Palace with the liveried servants and the protocol. Not a laugh all evening.
Well, I doubt very much it will be formal. On the contrary, they...
Don't
Hathaway
tell me. I'll surprise you.
convinces, God, what was his last name? Rich man to go to dinner at the
Everybody came as chic. She came as a belly dancer, and I was Lawrence of
her
Arabia.
date, not day. What? Are you going somewhere?
I'm packing for Moose Jaw, Alaska. Ransom just arrived at the Clampetts.
Surely you're exaggerating the situation.
Margaret, one look at those hillbillies, and I'm an Eskimo.
Lady Clampett, may I present Mr. Martin von Ranselhoff?
How do you do?
Hey, they just call me Jed, and this here's Granny.
Pleasure to know.
How do you do? Ah, this is fabulous.
See,
It's
okay.
silly.
So he was complaining about like not having a lot of down to earth like different experiences because he's gone across the world and seen everything. How many times has he had dinner with a bunch of rich hillbillies? Like this will definitely be a unique experience for him. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe he'll get along with the Clampetts like, people usually do, because the Clampetts, again, are good people.
My daughter, Ellie Mae.
Howdy there. Say, I got a rooster that plays dead. You want to see him?
Hey, let's wait till later to show off your critters. This fine young
Hey,
fella
Jethro.
here is my nephew, Jethro.
Howdy, Mr. Rancy Hoff.
He's my cousin Pearl's boy. We're right proud of Jethro. He's gonna
Where is
graduate from
Pearl?
the 5th grade this year.
Please tell me she went back home.
Well, thank you.
Well, let's all go sit in the parlor while Granny pulls the bung on a keg of cider.
Jane, this is marvelous, simply marvelous, and what a surprise. Who would think that a stuffy millionaire like Clampett would come up with a hillbilly party? The man is a genius,
Oh,
and those accents,
damn
they
it.
must have been practicing for weeks.
Longer than that.
Yes, when do they start the hoedown or the square dance or whatever they
Probably
do?
after dinner.
Oh, excuse me,
That was a
Mr.
nice voice
Rancho.
crack there.
Marty.
Probably.
Well, come on, Marty. Once Granny
Marty.
pulls the bung on that cider, it evaporates awful fast.
Look, we'd like to get
Thinks
in the spirit of the
the-
party. You got any more clothes like the one that you're wearing?
Sure, Ellie Mae, Jethro.
Throwing a themed party.
Take these folks upstairs and get us some party clothes.
Hell yeah. Jeez.
Hathaway, Jane.
Here I am.
Dang,
You look
Jane.
like something out of Tobacco Road.
Well, you're not exactly Adolphe Manjou yourself.
You know, I can't get over an important millionaire like Clampett going to all this trouble to surprise me with a hillbilly party.
He's a wonderful man.
He's the greatest. He's a millionaire's millionaire. I'll always be grateful to Drysdale. By the way, why aren't
Where
the
is
Drysdales
Drysdale?
here?
Well, that's rather a long story, Mr. Van Ransenhoff.
Call me Marty the way Clampett does. That kills me.
Marty. Mr. Drysdale.
Well, Marty.
Transfer him to your bank in Moose Jaw, Alaska.
Moose Jaw, Alaska?
I never got the whole thing of like wearing tennis rackets or snowshoes on your feet.
I'm trying to figure out if I can convert these into snowshoes.
I've had
Like, what
enough
is the
of this
point of
ridiculous
snowshoes?
nonsense.
Obviously it helps you walk better on snow, but how?
Mr.
Like,
spoke so highly of his French chef.
why is the
I'm simply
design
dying
so
for the Chateaubriand.
important?
How would you feel about a nice big dish of flaming blubber?
Snowshoes work by distributing the weight of the person over a larger area so that the person's foot does not sink completely into the snow, a quality called flotation. Snowshoeing is a form of
And
hiking.
we're on our way to Moose Jaw.
Huh. So that's why they're so wide then. They're that wide because it allows them to better cover a surface area and have an equal distribution of weight. Well, this definitely isn't the first hoedown that Mrs. Hathaway has been to with the Clampetts. Promenade. All together now.
All right, everybody. Granny says we can't wait no longer for the Drysdales. Her owl soup and chicken fried hawk is getting cold.
Borrows clothes from.
Owl soup and chicken fried hawk. What a sense of humor. Drysdale missing the party.
They ain't joking.
Dinner in the billiard room. This is priceless.
Now, before we all sit down, there's a couple
It's
things
the
I'd like to
fancy
explain
dinner
to you,
table.
Marty.
Those are the pot
Now,
passers.
these sticks with the notches in them is the pot passers. And these pointy ones here is the meat stabbers. Is just dandy for stabbing stuffed crow.
Wish Elsa Maxwell and Pearl Mesta could be here.
Partial to stuffed crow, is they?
Well, come on, sit down, everybody. First we'll have Grace, and after that, Ellie Mae will pass out the deviled buzzard eggs. It's just fine with baked possum.
Hell yeah. I'm sure Miss Hathaway is more than used to the food by now. I know Mr. Drysdale isn't that big of a fan of it still, but I think Miss Hathaway's been over
Is
more
that
than he
fabulous?
has.
I tell you, I've been to parties all over the world, but this is the cleverest, the most original, and what food? Imagine calling roast pheasant or just stuffed crow with gopher gravy. I don't think you didn't eat much.
Oh, the excitement of the evening.
Yes, I must say, I don't blame you. I can hardly wait to get back from that around-the-world cruise, see what kind of party they're going to plan for me next.
Oh, Marty. Granny says you seem so fond of her deviled buzzard eggs, she wanted you to have these to take home with you.
Well, thank her for me.
You bet I will. Good
That's
night.
might neighborly of you, Jed.
Is that beautiful? Still in character.
Episode 32, The Clampetts in Court. And there's the exterior shot that we just found.
Wonder how much money I ought to draw out.
Don't forget, I need school supplies.
And I need victuals for my critters. And I need victuals for you critters.
Couldn't Granny's victuals come from the victuals of Ellie's critters?
I reckon I might as well draw out enough money to last us a month or two. Reckon $10 will do it.
I never could
When you
sleep
say
a wink with all
$10,
that
Jed?
money in the house.
I told you not to drive with that
Whoopsie.
hangover.
Anybody hurt?
I don't think so.
Well, no harm done, huh, kid?
Well, not to your car, but you kind of bent our bumper.
Oh.
I reckon I can straighten it out, though.
Attaboy, Jethro.
Attaboy. You going in the bank, old-timer? Yes, sir. I was planning to. Well, come with me. They know me here. Maybe I can do you some good.
The Clampetts have a
Hope you
minor
forget my stupid
fender
husband. Had a
bender
bad day yesterday with an axe.
with
We got stoned last night. So now he's got
rich
to borrow some money to pay
couple.
off his bookie.
What's a bookie?
A little rat called Sam the Collector. Oh, Jim could only stay away from the horses.
Your husband likes horses, does he?
Loves them, especially losers.
Jed says a man who likes animals can't be all bad.
Here comes Uncle Jed, Granny.
Well, let's be on the way. Bye, ma'am. Glad there was no harm done.
So am I.
They're gonna like find out that the Clampetts are millionaires and then they're gonna sue them. Aren't they?
What happened to you? Fall down in there?
Shut up and act first. That old geezer's worth $35 million.
What?
Well, it looks like Jed just gained another $1 million because 2 episodes ago they were at 34. Don't know how,
Case of Junction.
considering I thought that the deposit was a one-time deposit, but unless they're currently finding more oil on the Clampetts' property.
Mr. Clampett,
Yes, sir?
please rise when addressing the court.
Yes, sir. Your courtship?
Your Honor.
Oh, just call me Jed.
Mr. Clampett, let me warn you that any attempt at humor will be dealt with severely.
Ah,
Sued for $100,000. Do you consider that funny?
No, sir.
100,000?
Well,
Seriously? That's
are you
nothing.
represented by counsel?
Am I what? By who?
You have an attorney. A lawyer.
Oh, no, sir.
I see. You're appearing in pro per.
Jed has no idea what you're talking about, dude. If Jed or any of the other Clampetts have been to court before in Appalachia, it's a small town court where everybody knows everybody and everything's settled in like 2 minutes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Plus, $100,000 is like nothing to Jed right now.
In no condition to appear today,
Especially if he's continually gaining money,
so that your
as
Honor
shown
can
by
see
him
the
having
crime
35 million
reached
now
by
instead of
this
34
criminally
million.
terrorist family of hoodlums.
Oh, excuse me, young feller, but our name ain't Hoodlum, it's Clampett.
Clampett.
Except Granny, she's a Moses, and Jethro, he's a Bodine. He's my cousin Pearl's boy. Pearl's back home right now with Jethro and his sister trying to get her married.
Hey, Pearl's at home. Thank God the witch is dead.
That's the way my cousin Pearl feels. A girl passes 18, and her chances of getting a husband is...
Yeah, just tell Pearl.
Will you please be quiet? I'm going to excuse
Ding
myself
dong, the
because
bitch is
apparently you're
gone.
unfamiliar with court procedure. However, one more infraction and I will hold you in contempt. You be seated. Proceed, Counselor.
You know, it would have helped to, you know, educate them a little bit on the proceedings of the court before just inviting them in. I'm sure a good majority of Americans, let alone people in other countries too, aren't familiar with, like, the extent of the formalities in the legal system in the courtroom. And this was unfortunately before the time of security cameras, so
Something terrible by the looks of them.
yeah.
Can we comfort them?
Your Honor, protect my clients from these ruffians.
You've got a terrible memory for names. Least Clamp, except for Randy and Jethro.
Randy's Moses and Jethro's
I
Bodine.
contempt of this court. And I'm going to give you a fine of $100.
Thank you, but I didn't do nothing to earn no $100.
It should be fairly obvious to the judge by now that he's got his hands full. But, of course, the judge doesn't care much. He's just there to do his job and not pay attention to what actually matters, huh?
Didn't you hear him, Granny? The judge spended it.
What right he got spending your $100?
Yeah, you got 35 million more. Or 35,900,999.
The maimed and broken bodies of my clients speak more eloquently than any words of mine in condemning the criminal actions of this lawless family.
What do you call us that time?
The lawless.
I know a family named Lawless. Awful nice folks. Raise pigs.
Was that when you lived in Tennessee, Gran?
Your Honor, that on the day and date set forth in the complaint, said defendants did willfully and maliciously crash into the plaintiff's car, inflicting
totally.
upon the bodies of the plaintiffs numerous and grievous injuries, for which we ask the court to award damages in the amount of $100,000 to said plaintiffs.
Can't even remember the Johnsons. He keeps calling
And them plaintiffs.
There are two ways about it. When it comes to recollecting names, that young feller's pitiful.
I want you to tell the court in your own words exactly what happened.
What was their name? The
Mrs. Johnson and I had
Johnsons.
just driven up to the bank where I hoped to borrow some money from my favorite charity, the Horse Lovers of America.
Oh, spelled that wrong.
Married for 20 years. Mrs. Johnson and I are still
Faking,
very affectionate.
claiming and faking injuries that didn't actually happen during
Well, being affectionate as we are, we
The
sat in the car for a
fender
few moments
bender.
to speak of our love.
I love you, Jim Johnson.
I love you, Mabel.
What other man would borrow the money to help those poor old horses on their way to the glue factory?
I do what
Jed?
my heart tells me. Mabel!
Angel.
There's an old truck careening down the street out of control.
To be fair, I could probably see Granny actually doing that while they're driving down the street. Even if they were going that fast, that would have barely done anything to them, especially how the cars were built back then.
Please.
Court is recessed for 10 minutes.
Who you reckon smacked into them people like that?
I don't know, but they was driving something called a stupor. What do we drive, Jethro?
I ain't sure, but I think it's called a Stutz.
If we wasn't there, we could have helped them.
Yeah.
Excuse me, mister. How do you get
I mean, you were there, but you're not the ones that caused it. Nothing caused it, in fact.
For my poor Jim's sake, I was glad he was unconscious so that he didn't have to see the worst part.
What'd you describe?
And what was that?
Worst part.
Well, you see, the impact threw my husband out of the car.
Uh-huh,
There he
totally.
lay on the street,
broken and bruised. My precious darling. Did those insensitive beasts care?
If you had neck injuries, you wouldn't be able to move your head as well as that. You'd have to turn your shoulders, therefore turning your head with it. Unless it was like a really, really minor neck injury, and in that case, you probably wouldn't need the brace.
Why don't you learn how to stay out of people's way?
Look what you've done to my husband.
I'll bring him around. If this don't bring him around, he's dead.
I mean, to be fair, if Granny's moonshine didn't bring a man around, he probably would be dead.
My poor husband, whose precious lips had never before touched alcohol.
Well, that's probably not true. We know, it's not true, because he was hungover when they first encountered the
Do you
Clampetts.
wish to question Mrs. Johnson?
Oh, no, sir. That poor woman's been through trouble enough. I just want to say that me and my family here is right good at tracking and trailing and hunting. And we'd be right pleasured if you'd let us go out and hunt down them rascals that was so mean to the Johnsons.
Clampett, do you expect the court to take those remarks seriously?
Well, I reckon I did brag a little too strong on us, but if we can't catch him, we got a hound dog named of Old Duke.
Yeah, Duke would be able to chase him down.
Why, you just give old Duke the scent. He
Is it possible that you people don't realize that you are the accused?
What do you mean?
We're the
You
Clampetts.
are the folks who caused these injuries to the Johnsons.
Us? Who says so?
They do.
That's a dad-blame lie. Wait, what is even five?
Bailiff, restrain these people.
You ain't gonna be able to restrain any of them, let alone Granny. Ellie Mae will beat your ass. Jethro would beat your ass too. My point precisely. And now Mr. Drysdale's gonna get involved.
a place to spend recess.
That fella said he put us in here to cool off. It's hotter in here than it is in there.
Well, there's one good thing. He's going to give each one of us $100.
Fine. That's what I say. Fine and dandy.
You good, Granny?
Ed, you look like you're counting hairs on a hog's back. What you studying on?
I'm studying on this whole situation, Granny. Why would the Johnsons haul off and say we'd done something that we didn't?
Because some people just like to be dishonest.
I agree with Ellie. Way I got it figured, that accident they had knocked their memories loose.
I could have. The way these bands
I think Jethro was actually right. I didn't catch exactly what Jethro said, but
Well, maybe they stabbed to get the money.
yeah.
I agree with Ellie.
Yeah, Jethro's actually right. They're faking it to get their money.
Knocked their memories loose.
I could have. The way these bandaged up, they must have took some awful hard knocks.
Granny, supposing you make some poultices for the Johnsons, then that'll draw the hurt out of their heads and they'll be able to remember what smashed into them.
I'll do it, kid.
Hopefully.
And I'll whop up a great big dose of retchweed tonic. There ain't nothing like retchweed to get you thinking straight.
Judge adjourned court till after lunch. And then he wants you all back in that courtroom on your very best behavior. He said he'd suspend your $100 fines.
They already were on their best behavior. Y'all just don't understand them. Because you don't stop and take the time to actually get to know and understand the Clampetts.
I'm going to ask the court for a judgment by default. Those hillbillies aren't coming back. They probably left town.
Hope we didn't keep you folks waiting.
Oh, they brought stuff.
For a piece over at our place.
Granny got a lot of fixing to do. And you're going to feel a heap different when I get done with this.
How dare you threaten my clients?
Quiet them down, little man. Ain't nobody threatening nobody.
Yeah.
They're back, Your Honor. All rise.
Why does it look like it's off center? There we go.
You can uncover the bridge, but keep the lid on the baked pot. Now that's kidding. They're just as good.
Did they bring the food for everyone or just for them?
Good, don't it, Judge? We'd be right pleasure to have you join us. Everybody, we got plenty.
Yeah. They brought food for everyone.
Very nice. You realize how long you've kept this court waiting?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Judge, but we done the best we could. Granny was working like a whirlwind, baking possum, cooking grits, making tonic, and fixing poultices.
Granny made more tonic?
Than what Granny has been doing.
I wouldn't rile her up if I was you, Judge. Not on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
Granny gets right ornery when she ain't eat all day.
I am also not interested in her dietary idiosyncrasies. Mayor, remove that food from this courtroom.
Hold on. We's hungry.
That's your own fault for being late.
I wouldn't say too much about being late if I was you. This is the second time today you've come in here in your nightgown.
even the audience is laughing.
Tell me, Jethro, do you like to drive that old truck?
Oh, yes, sir.
Do you like to drive fast?
Oh, yes, sir, but I'm
Just
always...
answer the question yes or no, and tell the truth. How do you like to drive fast?
You're leading the witness.
Were you driving fast the day you crashed into the Johnsons' car?
Oh, no, sir.
Well, were you driving slowly when you crashed into their car?
No, sir.
That's
I'm
all,
always...
thank you.
But
Now
I'm
step down, please. Next witness.
You can't just cut.
Granny, I understand that you make very good
I
moonshine
hate
with...
sleazy TV lawyers.
I call it my rheumatism medicine.
Yeah,
But it is quite potent. Quite
very
strong.
potent.
Well, you don't want to stand too close to a fire when
Can
you're
knock a
burning.
ward off of toads from 100 feet away.
Yes, well, now then, Granny. Do you sometimes carry a jug of this rheumatism medicine around with you? Take it on trip, say?
Rheumatism, not
Only when I
rheumatiz,
get
you
my twinges.
idiot.
Well, were you having twinges the day you and your family crashed into the Johnsons?
No, and we didn't.
That's all. Thank you. Now then, Ellie Mae. When the old truck here crashed into the Johnsons' car, would you show me just where you were sitting?
Well, I was sitting right there, but we didn't.
That's all. Thank you. Mr. Clampett, how many guns do you have in your home?
Well, reckon about
Jethro's lever action,
24 or so.
rifle.
You needn't go on, Mr. Clampett. That's quite an arsenal you have.
Thank you.
It's for hunting.
You're used to carrying a gun, aren't you?
I've been toting a squirrel rifle since I was knee-high to a jackrabbit.
And I understand you're quite a good shot.
Back when I
Oh,
come
definitely.
from, if you didn't shoot good, you didn't eat.
I mean, that's
shot
true.
only for food,
That's mighty true.
and you were very poor.
Yes, sir.
And then oil was discovered on your land, and you became very, very wealthy and moved to Beverly Hills.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But isn't it a fact, Mr. Clampett, that in spite of all your
Where are you
millions,
going
are
with
still
this?
frequently seen carrying a gun?
Yes, sir. You see,
Now, just answer the question, yes or no.
What does being rich have to do with carrying or toting a
Carrying
gun?
yes, sir.
Yeah,
Were you
when they go
carrying a gun the
hunting.
day you and your family crashed into the Johnsons.
No.
No, sir, and we didn't.
That's all. Thank you. Step down.
No, sir.
Oh.
No, sir.
Ain't all, and I ain't stepping down. Not until I've said a few things.
Yeah.
Honor, I object.
Now, Counselor, I have been very lenient with your conduct of this case. just
Yeah,
as I've
that's
been
my
very lenient
point.
With the conduct of the defendants.
Listen to me.
However, since Mr. Clampett here is the
Hear him out.
defendant and will bear the financial burden if judgment is against him, the court wishes to hear anything that is relevant and pertinent to this case.
Exactly.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's how it should have
Mr.
been from
Clampett?
the start.
Let us hear what you have to say.
Well, thank you. Well, to begin with, there ain't nobody told the real story about what happened the day the Johnsons backed into us.
I object, Your Honor. There has not been one shred of evidence or testimony supporting the allegation that my clients backed into the defendants.
That is very true, Counselor. Perhaps now we might...
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank
You
you.
may proceed, Mr. Clampett, realizing, of course, that you're still under oath to tell the truth.
Well, Your Honor, I learned how to tell the truth so long ago, I reckon it's become a habit. And what with making a promise on the good book, I'm going to be extra careful.
Oh.
Proceed.
Well, me
See,
and my family
Jed
drove
is
down to
so
the bank.
genuine. How can you not like him, let alone believe him?
And then we drove on home, and that's the last we seen of the Johnsons till somebody come to the house and told us to come down here to the courtroom.
You may cross-examine.
Well, that's
Lawyer.
quite a story you told, Mr. Clampett. Very simple and very sweet.
Just
That's
the truth, like a
that's
promise.
yeah, that's
You're
what it
innocent
is.
of all these charges against you, aren't you? You've nothing to hide.
That's right.
Yeah.
Then why, Mr. Clampett, did you not answer the summons and complaint served upon you by the county marshal?
Summons and complaint.
That is right, complaint.
From who? And where did you send it?
This is a complaint, Mr. Clampett. In fact, it's a copy of the one delivered into your hands.
What?
Is that a complaint?
It is. Why didn't you answer it?
Would you mind reading that first line there?
Yeah. You gotta understand, the Clampetts probably didn't
The
understand.
people of the state of California send greetings to J.D. Clampett.
That just didn't seem like no complaint to us.
Yeah.
And as for Aunt, well, Jethro says there's pretty near 18 million people in California. We just couldn't hardly see how we could get around to greeting them all back.
Oh.
Any further questions?
Not right now, Your Honor.
Court will recess for 30 minutes, after which we'll hear final argument.
At least Jed finally got to say his piece.
Mrs. Johnson, I'd like to have a little conference with you and your husband before court resumes. Do you know where he is?
Probably out calling his bookie. Dr. Bookman.
Another thing, you told me your husband was a teetotaler. After lunch today, I thought I smelled liquor on his breath.
That's his
Yeah.
medicine for pain.
Mrs. Johnson, are you sure that you and your husband are telling me the complete truth about this case?
What do you
Totally.
mean? Are you siding with that millionaire against us poor crippled people? Bodies all aching and racked with pain?
You don't dress like
Mr.
poor
Clampett's
people.
Story was
Especially if you're living in Beverly
and there
Hills.
were no witnesses to the accident.
You told me we didn't need any witnesses. You said because they didn't answer the complaint, we didn't have to bring in any witnesses.
I mean, you didn't need
What do you mean
witnesses,
you,
but it still would have
could
helped.
have brought in witnesses.
Yeah.
All you want.
All rise.
What's the verdict, Judge?
Counsel for the plaintiffs ready for his final summation?
Yes.
Is this a judge-ruled case?
Your Honor,
Because
sir,
I don't
Mr.
see,
Judge, could I say something that might
God.
save us all
Oh my
a
God,
lot of
what's the
time?
word?
You any objections?
No, Your Honor.
Jury. That's the word I was looking for. Oh my God. I'm just blanking out there.
Well, sir,
It looks like a small claims
if it's
court
all right with
case.
you, I'd like to go ahead and give that $100,000 to the Johnsons.
Oh.
Do
Jed.
you admit the claims made by the Johnsons?
Well, no, sir, it don't. But he deserves the money, and I can afford to give it to him more if he needs it.
Oh.
Would you
Jed,
tell
you're
the
too
court
kind.
Why you think he deserves it?
Well, Your Honor, I got a daughter here, Ellie Mae, and I reckon she means more to me than just about anything in the world. And during the recess, when I seen Mr. Johnson with his daughter and seen how much he loved her, just like I do Ellie Mae, well, it kind of tore at my heart.
boy.
What daughter?
There he was in his wheelchair in that little room across the hall, and in walked this beautiful girl with the long red hair, and I knowed right away she was his daughter because she walked up to him and she says, "How's it going, Daddy?"
Oh,
With
boy.
no nurse to help him, that brave man got to his feet and stood there straight and tall so she wouldn't see he was suffering. And he hugged her and he kissed her, and right then is where I found out she was a heap like my daughter, fond of critters. Because he said, "Marcia, darling, when I get this 100,000, I'm going to take you to Mexico and we're going to watch the ponies run."
Even the judges try not to laugh. And busted.
Development surprised me as they did you. I asked to be relieved from the case at once.
Request granted. This
Yeah.
court finds for the defendant.
Granny.
Plaintiffs back into this court immediately. They're to be held for perjury.
Hell yeah. Way to go, guys. You did it, even if you weren't planning on it. Oh no, the Clampets get psychoanalyzed.
Can I help you, Granny? Sure can, Ellie. I must be getting old.
I swear to God, if it's some Freudian psychoanalysis bullshit.
Don't touch it. It's haunted.
Freud is a hack fraud, and we all know it.
Who in tarnation is little Jasper?
What is with you on finding these, like, wild animals?
This one's all broke out with spots.
Did you borrow this from the zoo, too?
Your little feller's what you call a jaguar. Where'd he come from? Critter Doc drove to zoo, said he comes all the way from South America. Down Louisiana way. Nice country. Bring you home to wing. He says, I got away with the critters. But you better get away with this one before your paw sees it. He's getting a craw full of you dragging home them critters. Where is Pa? Out front, soling shoes. Come on, little Jasper.
So, 33. Hey, is that Mr. Drysdale? Howdy there, Mr. Drysdale. Oh, joy. Woo.
Didn't want to nail us together, Pearl.
Hey, Pearl. Woo-hoo. I'm so excited to see you, Pearl. Oh, boy. At least if you had brought back Jeff Green with you, I'd be a little more excited to see you.
Besides, I didn't want to take Jethro out of school, and Mr. Drysdale offered his limousine and livered chauffeur. Thanks a heap. Jed, give the chauffeur a tip.
Come on, Pearl. Come inside. Tell me all about it.
Oh, just
He doesn't know what that means, Pearl.
got a tip for you.
Thank you, sir.
Plant your corn early this year.
It's good to see you.
She was gone for like, what, a month or two?
Did you have a big fancy wedding?
Jethrin got married?
Sure she did. Pearl's been planning that for years.
To, Jasper?
Didn't quite come off the way I planned it.
What happened?
You know, I had Jeff Green all set to marry Albert Ledbetter, that
Who?
tall spring bean of undertaker over to Ripley.
Good, steady fella, Al. Best undertaker in the whole county.
Only undertakers in the county.
Nice feller, too.
Oh, Granny, I wish you could have seen the way he decorated my parlor. Well, you couldn't walk for the flowers. They weren't all strictly fresh, mind you, and some of them still had the black ribbons on.
Oh, flowers is flowers.
Al never was one to waste nothing.
Well, what happened, Aunt Pearl? Didn't Cousin Jethrin marry up with Undertaker?
Apparently not.
Stood him up.
What happened to
With
Jasper?
another man.
There goes my free funeral.
Well, tell me, Pearl, who'd Jethrin elope with?
That drummer from Joplin, Jasper Depew.
Hey.
Why, he weren't no more than half her size.
I reckon love ain't measured by a yardstick, Granny. And they do look happy. Sent me
Yeah.
a snapshot from Turnersville.
Turnersville?
How'd old Al Ledbetter take it?
Isn't
Pearl?
Turnersville-
Him up like that?
Took it right nasty, Jed. He backed his hearse up to the door and hauled away every single flower. Where did he take him? Straight over to Elverna Bradshaw's parlor. He up and married her daughter before that.
Maybe I'm wrong?
Al never was one to waste nothing.
Green Acres. I know Petticoat Junction is Hooterville. Let's see.
What are you doing home from school in the middle of the morning?
Did you hear your ma was coming?
They just found out over at school that
What
I
was
ain't
the
got no
name of the
certificate of health.
town in
What's that?
Green Acres?
Something that says that I'm healthy.
I'm say you're healthy. Now go on back to school.
I gotta have an examination first, Granny.
Stick out your tongue. You're healthy. Get back to school.
Shut up.
Granny, I reckon he's got to be examined by a doctor.
I've been
Name
doctoring
of
better than
the-
60 years.
It's gotta be a doctor that's what they call a MD.
What does that stand for?
Mr. Doctor, I reckon.
Wait, Green Acres is in Hooterville too?
Well, maybe he ought to do like the school says.
Hooterville is a fictional farming community that is a setting for the American situational comedies Petticoat, Junction, and Green Acres. 2 rural-oriented television shows, blah,
We
blah, blah,
don't know
blah.
no doctors. Well, I know the critter doctor over to the zoo.
Hooterville is mentioned in an early episode of the Beverly Hillbillies. This episode, Jethro Bodine's sister, has a budding romance with a slick traveling salesman, Jasper, who invites her to a dance in Hooterville. Right, I remember when Jasper invited Jethreen to a dance in Hooterville. But why does Turnersville sound so familiar?
It commences with D.
Huh.
I got it. Dr. Twombly.
What?
Twombly don't commence with a D.
Well, Doctor does.
Jethro, you go on upstairs and take a bath and put on some clean underwear and get over and see him.
Okay, Ma.
I sure hope Dr. Twombly don't examine his brains.
Analysis is progressing most satisfactorily. Tomorrow, same time.
Yes. Well, thank you, Dr. Twombly.
And don't worry about the regression into infancy syndrome. You'll overcome this desire to be a baby again.
Yes, sir.
Are we
Thank you,
playing
Doctor.
off of Freudian? Oh, God. Sometimes I have to question my respect for this show. I get that it's old and heavily outdated, but playing off mental health disorders as just a joke is not good. And there he is. Yep, there he is. Ugh. I want to rip that painting off the wall and throw it in the fire. Please and thank you.
Oh, Doctor, there's one more patient. His name is Jethro Bodine.
This is my golf day. You know I don't take patients after 11 o'clock.
He was referred by Mrs. Drysdale.
All right. Call Dr. Black and tell him I'll meet him on the golf course.
Oh, this could be a fun episode.
Doctor, this is Jethro Bodine.
Hey, Jethro.
Howdy. How are you, Jethro? Make yourself comfortable on the couch, right here.
Thank you.
That's a mighty strange couch you got here, mister.
Would you like to tell me all about yourself and why you're here?
Well, why I'm here is that I can't go to school till I get examined by you.
Just lie back and relax.
Well, thank you.
You know Jethro's gonna go to sleep now,
Suppose you
right?
Tell me about this problem you're having at school.
Well, my biggest problem is staying awake while the teacher's talking.
Well, that might be nothing more than a benign subconscious rejection of authority represented by the teacher. It doesn't mean that you necessarily lack interest or capability or intelligence. Above all, you mustn't let this cause you any distress. Together, we will probe into the underlying causations and...
Thank you, Jethro. Thank you for cutting him off before he got into that Freudian bullshit.
So good to feel needed.
Underlying causations, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there are underlying causes, but they're not Freudian underlying causes. They're deeply seated issues, yes, but they're not all subconscious based.
Awful sorry,
God.
I plumb forgot I hit him and ain't
When you study psychology for 3 years, you kind of grow to hate Freud in the first, 6 months.
I thought it was a fur muffin. Started to stick my hand in and he bit right down on it. Oh,
Aw.
I let out a yell, I can tell you.
I heard you clean down to the cement pond. You're yodeling better than ever.
Granny,
I reckon a ornery critter like this ought to be outside instead of in the house scaring folks.
Oh, leave her, stagehead. I'm commencing to like her yodeling.
Oh, Granny. Has anybody heard anything of Jethro? He's been at that doctor for a good spell now.
He's probably
Rest
still
easy,
asleep.
Pearl. There's a lot of boy there to examine.
Now, Jethro, during your few waking moments, you have managed to tell me that your mother's a widow.
Oh, yes, sir.
I'd like you to tell me all about
Are you
her.
going to get
I'm very
into,
interested.
the Oedipus
Don't blame me.
complex,
She's
the
pretty.
Electra complex,
Fine.
fixations,
Now then, Jethro.
fixations?
What's your
Do
relationship
you
with
want to
your mother?
fuck your mom?
I'm her son.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that. But how do you feel about her? Do you like her?
Oh, I sure do. She's a dandy, yeah.
She's a great mom.
Does she ever give you
Not
hostile
really.
emotions or aggressive tendencies?
Well,
Yeah.
she would if I asked her for 'em.
To be fair, yeah,
Well,
she does,
suppose,
Jethro.
we
Very
talk about your
selfish
father. Do you remember
tendencies.
him?
Oh, yes, sir. He used to take me hunting. Taught me how to shoot with a rifle when I was just a little feller.
Oh, you were good buddies when he was alive.
Oh, yes, sir.
Did you miss him?
I never shot at him.
Well, suppose you tell me about the rest of your family. Do you have any brothers?
No, sir. But I got a sister that's got one.
Well, that would be you, Jeff.
No, sir. Her name is Jethrain.
Why don't you go back to
Nice,
sleep?
Jethro.
Oh, Granny, wait till you see what all's in here. Everlasting.
Oh,
asked
what
me
did you
to
bring,
back
Pearl?
from the hills.
Okay,
Oh,
it's stuff
bless
that
you,
Granny
Pearl.
asked for, not stuff that you're wasting Jed's money on.
Pearl, you'll never know how I needed this. When you simmer this in slippery elm tea, it is first rate for chills and fever. Dried crawdad tail. Big rascals, too. When they is ground up to powder. You can't beat it for easing headaches, curing warts, and seasoning sauerkraut. Catfish whiskers. Oh. Sump water. Oh. Dogwood bark. And the skins from 3 full-grown newts caught at midnight under a full moon. You ain't gonna
At
believe
least you put in
but
the effort
you
for
just
Granny,
can't
Pearl.
buy these in Beverly Hills.
Shocker.
That's a fact, Pearl. Jethro drove me up to 5 big department stores out here, and not one of them had a newt skin.
For shame.
Charms and potions. You might just as well not commence unless you got the midnight moonlight caught fully grown newt.
Pearl, did you do all this gathering yourself?
Oh, no, not yet. I had company, especially with midnight moonlight newt hunt.
Anybody I
Was
know?
it Homer?
3 of the most marriageable men in the hills.
Well, that'd be Jack Cantrell, Widower Lloyd, and Old Man Casey.
Oh, he ain't so old. I declare.
What?
I had to watch out more for him than the newts. I'm
That's
surprised you didn't get married while you was back
unfortunate
home,
for you,
I
Pearl.
had plenty of chances,
I'm sorry to hear
Granny,
that.
but I got sport living out here. So I'm going to hold out for one of them good-looking, snappy-dressing, money-spending Beverly
Yeah,
Hills
you got
fellas.
spoiled living out here because you would waste your
Wild
cousin's money.
Honeycomb. Honeycomb and Mountain Dew. Best thing in the world for Quincy. Mountain-grown black seed. Nothing better for poultices. Old George McQueenie sent that to you. I'll take it anyway.
Bye.
Major throw.
Well, what'd the doctor say? Are you well? Are you healthy?
Never did find out. And when that Dr. Twombly heard that you was my ma, that's all he talked about from then on.
Talking about me?
He must ask a dozen questions about you.
But Jethro, I don't even know the man.
That's how
Well, he sure knows
psychoanalysis
about you.
goes.
And he'd like you to
I
come to his
guess.
office to see him.
When?
Well, he says the sooner the better. And he's a good looker, too.
Yeah.
Bet you Mrs. Drysdale told him about
It's gonna turn into another one of
Hurry,
Pearl's
put on
boy
the
hunts.
store-bought hair and high society dress.
Back into this high society
This
shit.
Dr. Twombly, a pretty nice fella.
Yes, sir. But he's awful nosy, though. Never stops asking questions.
Shows he's interested.
But
That's
there's
his
one
job.
thing about him I ain't gonna like. He's a messy writer.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. You know how Ma's always fussing at me for spilling ink in my writing book?
Yeah?
Well, he showed me one of his books, and Uncle Jed, the
Rorschach
biggest mess
test.
of ink blots you ever saw.
Pearl, seriously, you're
I'll
going
be
to a
very here
psychiatry
pretty and sub
appointment.
On a Monday morning.
Ma, that dress shines like a new tin can.
Well, I reckon that's just about the fanciest dress ever. Even the things that don't show is fancy.
Why do you...
I got the truck.
Your
waiting,
hair
Ma.
is a lot better than that
truck's
stupid
mighty
flaneur
easy when
wig,
you're wearing
Pearl.
high society clothes and someone else's hair. I'm going in style today.
I'll get the door.
Did you request Mr. Drysdale's limousine again?
Howdy. At your service, Mrs. Bourdain.
Now, this is the way to live. Oh, I just hope that doctor's looking out his window when I drive
So
Au revoir.
heinous.
Ain't no two ways
Now
about it.
this
When it
is the
comes
way to
style,
live.
nobody plows a
Pearl,
deeper rut than
it's the
Pearl.
way you want to live. It's the selfish way that you want to live. Maybe other people enjoy driving. Maybe other people enjoy wearing the clothes that feel comfortable. Maybe other
You
people
obviously are a
enjoy
more sophisticated woman
being
than I was led to believe.
genuine.
Merci, n'est-ce pas?
Excuse me.
He's not getting fresh with you, Pearl. He does this for all his why was I going to say opponents? Appointments, rather.
Now, step over to the couch and make yourself comfortable. Oh, sit down. Sit down. Relax.
Oh,
To be fair, Pearl, you're the one that was oh so eager to come here.
Don't you get the wrong idea just because I talk French.
Oh, Dean, you don't.
You bet I don't.
I don't get you, Pearl. You're so boy crazy, and then you go
Here
and
you
do
are,
shit
Doctor.
like that.
And I postponed your golf date until 3.
Thank you.
Dr. Twombly?
Yes, but I'm
Hey,
busy
Judd.
right now.
I'm sorry, you cannot see the doctor without an appointment.
I wouldn't count on that, ma'am. It might be a good idea for you to leave the room. Who are you? Name's Jed Clampett, blood cousin to Pearl Bodine.
Good.
What did
It's
Pearl
all right,
tell you,
sir.
Judd?
Mr. Clampett, I'm glad to see you.
Before I shake your hand, maybe I better speak my piece.
By all means. Sit down.
I'd rather stay on, thanks, and I'll get right to the point. Back where I come from, we don't take kindly to anybody trifling with our female kinfolks.
But, Mr. Clampett,
I take
Pearl's
it
the
to
one.
account that This is a big city, and your ways are probably different than ours. When my cousin Pearl tells me she hadn't no more than said howdy, and you commence pulling her to the settee.
And I'm not saying that Pearl
Doggy,
was
that's
like
dropping a rusty bucket
because
down
of
my
how she
well.
was dressed or whatever she was inviting him. Pearl's the one that went to him first with the idea of, oh, he's interested in me. I'm going to get up, dressed up all high and mighty and fancy in my stupid high society clothes and try and net me a man.
apologize for the mistake.
She's the one that was chasing him first. She just found herself in a situation that she
I want to
misunderstood.
meet every member of your family.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
I'm not victim blaming. Because, first off, Pearl's not a victim here. It was a misunderstanding.
Pearl can look after herself, but I got a daughter, Ellie Mae, and I catch you making one move in her direction, you're going to find yourself weighing about 3 bullets heavier.
Don't you worry about Ellie Mae, Judd. Ellie Mae can take care of herself.
Sassafras tea. I bolstered it up with a little Mountain Dew. Calm you down. Thank you, Granny. Pearl, I wish you'd wear this thing or put it away. I keep thinking it's one of Ellie's critters. A bit ago, I tried to feed it a saucer of milk.
Your hair looks so much better without that stupid flaneur wig, Pearl.
Did you do something different to your hair? Oh, Pearl, Jethro and me brung that Dr. Twombly home here so he could apologize to you.
Oh, I got. No mirror in here.
Well, it's not your house,
Whoop him to where he's no good.
so you can't complain.
You're going to shoot nobody, Granny. That's why I come in here.
Freeloader.
You whooped him too bad, huh?
Whoop him at all.
How come?
Poor fella's so sickly, he got to have a nurse handy all the time. Jethro, bring him on
I mean,
in
I guess
here.
that would be a kind of reasonable misunderstanding.
Dr. Twombly, this here's Granny.
I'm pleased to meet you, Granny.
He don't look too sickly to whoop.
Yeah.
You to whoop him, Granny?
Granny don't look too pleased to see him either.
What, for instance? Put some air in the truck tire. They won't hold no more air, Uncle Jed. Then let some out and then put some in.
I never get to do anything I want to do. Somebody's always saying, do this, do that, put air in, take air out. I don't know.
Granny, where's Ellie?
She's out back running a new Jaguar around the yard.
Well, I'll go fetch her. I reckon you'll be safe with them.
Yeah.
Sit down, Doctor.
Thank you.
Whoops.
So, you call yourself a doctor, do you?
Well, I do hold several degrees.
All right, Doctor.
What are you doing, Granny? Are you gonna have him try your tonics or something?
How do you cure warts?
Warts?
Yeah, warts.
Well, dermatology isn't my field, but I assume electrodesiccation is still the preferred method. Oh, is there a newer method?
Stump water and lye, mixed with ground up crawdad tails.
Yeah, lye will get the lye soap that Granny makes will get your hands nice and raw, and it'll just probably like tear the wart out.
Well, I'll try.
What are you doing, Granny?
How do you cure quinsy?
Quinsy? Tonsillitis.
No, that wouldn't cure it.
An inflammation of the pharyngeal area.
I don't care what you call it, that wouldn't cure quinsy. Quick, what kind of poultice for rising in the ear?
Poultice?
What's that affinity for?
Well,
How would you cure the vapors?
I...
What about the drowsies? Aching joints, stone bruises, corns, dander, twinges, and proud flesh.
Give the poor man a break,
These
Granny.
things are outside my field.
A doctor goes where he's needed. He don't just stay on his own land.
Now, you sit right back down. Remember what I told you. Hey, this here is Dr. Twombly.
Howdy.
Ellie Mae can defend herself well
Are
enough,
you the young
Jed.
lady with the new Jaguar?
I sure am. You want to see it?
Well, yes, I'm an enthusiast myself. Is it in the garage?
No, out in the yard. Come on.
Now, you sit right there.
We're talking about the
And me,
animal,
bring it
not
in the
a
A Jaguar
car.
in the house?
Is it all right, Pa?
Yeah, as long as you don't take it upstairs again.
Fair enough. And Pearl's all dressed up again. God damn it, Pearl.
Again, Doctor?
Oh, Mrs. Bodine, I am so sorry my actions in the office were misconstrued.
They was downright
At
forward.
least he understands.
If you want to court me proper, you can come into the parlor.
Uncle Jed, looky here.
How'd that happen?
Well, I was blowing air into it like this here.
Is that the tire for the truck, Jethro?
Jethro, I told you and I told you, use the pump. You always bust the tires when you blow them up by mouth.
Okay, Ma. Hey, is he going to be...
I reckon that's up to him, Jethro. We do have a nice parlor for proper courting.
Watch out, Pearl. Here comes Ellie and her Jaguar.
Bye, folks. It's been weird.
Doctor, wait.
It's been way weird,
Got a
folks.
big couch in the parlor.
Yes, I suggest you get on it. All of you. I'll send someone over.
It's another one of those misunderstanding episodes. Those aren't very... It's nice when the Clampets have like a minor misunderstanding of how something works or something like that, but when it's a misunderstanding that could affect the lives of the Clampets and the people around them, then it just gets annoying and irritating.
Bigger quack.
Hey, Miss Hathaway. Episode 34.
Well, I am rather helpless. If a man was
Please
going
don't let
against
this
me
be
now,
the
I
same
couldn't resist.
psychiatrist.
No, I'd be at his mercy.
Don't worry about that. Ain't no man gonna kiss you while I'm here.
So, you are like a magnificent skyscraper with an uncompleted penthouse.
Thank you.
Oh, that reminds me, Dr. Twombly is most anxious to see you again.
Well, I'm anxious to see him, too. He never did give me my certificate of health for school.
Well, Dr. Twombly is not an internist or diagnostician. He works in the field of psychiatry.
Well, as soon as he gets done working in that field and gets back to his office, I sure would like to see him.
Yeah.
I'm in his office now, but what I want to explain is...
I better hustle down there right now. Miss Potts says without I have a doctor's certificate, I can't graduate into the 6th grade.
So Jethro's still going to school, and he's still in the 5th grade. But they've still never clarified how old he is. So it could be he's 17 and just got held back so many times, or the grade system in Appalachia went a lot slower, or was shorter than it is in Beverly Hills, or he's a young child that has a man's body. But Jethreen is 17 or 18 now. I think Pearl said she was 18 now, because she got eloped to Jasper. Yeah, because in the letter that Pearl wrote back home, she said that Jethreen was past 18 and it was going to be harder for her to find a husband. But then Jethreen and Jasper got eloped. So Jethreen is 18, and it's never been explicitly stated, but I'm pretty sure that Jethreen and Jethro are twins, so that would make Jethro 18 as well.
Pretty good at reading rain signs, but I'll go along with Granny.
Science.
The United States Weather Bureau
That's not
does
science.
depend upon rain signs. It is a vast complex of highly skilled meteorologists working with the latest scientific equipment. They send balloons, tens of thousands of
You
feet
lost
into
him
the
at
air to measure
advanced.
wind velocity, barometric pressure, moisture content, and temperature. Their radar network scans the weather all over the continent.
Basically, Jed, they scan the weather by seeing how wet and damp it is.
Now, what does Granny have to compare with this in making a weather forecast?
Twinges.
Yeah.
And little stabbing pains in her bones.
I know what twinges are, but they can...
Granny's twinges can predict the weather better than anybody can.
I reckon they're as good as balloons. Granny's got other ways of telling when rain's on the way.
Yeah.
She studies ants and
Her
spiders.
lumbago and rheumatism start acting up.
And other things.
I'm afraid superstitions and omens cannot compete with knowledge and experience.
Well,
Oh, it's done good for Granny so far.
Where's Jethro? Granny's going to want him to tote that soap in before it rains.
He's gone to Dr. Twombly's office.
Good. He's going to need that health certificate at school.
I've got to have it before I can graduate to 5th grade. You're in the 5th grade?
Are we going to get answers
Yes,
here?
sir. Fixing to scoot right on up into the 6th quick as you can give me my certificate of health.
Jethro, a simple physical examination is no problem.
Damn it.
I want to explore
Ask him
your
how old he
mental
is.
capacity,
Please.
your cerebral region.
Should I take off my shirt?
No.
That is...
Won't be necessary.
Yeah.
Just make yourself comfortable on the couch over there.
What did you do to your thumb?
I'm gonna psychoanalyze you and
I have a
run
patient
you
who thinks he's a
through
dog.
the hierarchy of needs. Jethro's already gonna be asleep by the time he makes his way to the couch. You know, if you gotta do this with every patient, just leave your lamp off and your
I
curtains
hope this
closed.
examination won't take too long. I got to get to school before it rains.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that, Jethro. It isn't going to rain.
Oh, yes, it is. Granny says so.
Granny got
Granny says
tinges.
something's going to happen. It happens.
Sounds like she has remarkable powers.
Strongest little woman you ever did see.
Well, that's a fact.
Clairvoyant powers. Would you say
Oh, my
she's a
God.
medium?
No, sir. I'd say she's a small. She's strong as a medium, and if she ever took a switch to you, you'd know it.
Has she ever taken a switch to you?
She sure has. Woo.
And you stood for it?
Last time stood for pretty near 2 days.
Sounds like your grandmother is rather savage.
Sometimes she's as ornery as a mud wasp in a dry gourd.
I mean,
Violent temper.
I'll say.
You're afraid of her.
she.
Oh, yes,
I guess
sir.
she technically
She's
would
vicious.
be
Well, that's a fact.
Me?
his grandmother-in-law. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You hate her.
No.
Granny? Why, she's the sweetest little woman that ever lived.
Oh.
But you said she whipped you.
Well, she sure does.
She does it out
How
of...
often?
I don't want to say she does it out of love, but she does it out of love. Like,
You're quite a remarkable boy.
Granny's an
Is the
old-fashioned
examination
woman.
No, just fine. Now, you say you don't hate your grandmother. But how do you feel about your Uncle Jed? Is he a strict disciplinarian?
Uncle
No,
Jed
heck no.
says that's nobody's business.
What?
He says it don't matter what church you go to, just so long as you go.
A disciplinarian, not denomination.
Well, if you ever get one, you just ask Uncle Jed, because he can quote the good book from cover to cover.
That's wonderful. So you like your Uncle Jed?
So is Jed non-denominational then?
Yes, sir.
Huh.
Well, back home, I used to brag that Uncle Jed could outshoot, outlift, outhunt, outfight, and outfigure any man in them there hills.
I see. Back home.
You're not wrong,
You were
Jethro.
proud of him. Hmm?
Oh, yes, sir.
You're still proud of him.
But now that you're in Beverly Hills, surrounded by well-educated, well-dressed, sophisticated, important, and successful men, you still brag about him?
Yeah.
No, sir, I don't.
Oh. Don't be so smug about this.
Uncle
You're
Jed
getting
says it's
into...
sinful to shame these puny little city fellers.
Oh, God. Thank you for turning that around, Jethro. Thank you so much.
Can't hide him, Miss Hathaway. I'm so
What
glad
a-
you're here.
Stop wearing your own dresses, Pearl. They're disgusting.
Oh, I'd love to.
Ellie Mae, come on down.
My doggy, when it comes to fancy sewing and dressmaking, ain't nobody sits higher on the stump than my cousin Pearl.
Yeah, if that stump's like half an inch off the ground. You made Ellie Mae look like a doll. She's not a porcelain doll. And this isn't how
Kind of busy, isn't it?
women... Yeah, exactly, Jane. It's busy. Ruffles and... It's...
You have my word on it.
Yeah.
It ain't so much.
Ain't she says, look at her.
At least you have words for it, Miss Hathaway.
You mean you did this all yourself?
That looks exactly like Pearl's swimsuit.
Gusset, Gore, and Islet. Let's go show it to Granny and Jethro.
Oh, Mrs. Bodine, Jethro is in Dr. Twombly's office.
Oh, Miss Hathaway, how well do you know that there, Dr. Twombly?
Well, I'm not a patient of his, but he has a very big reputation.
I think I know how he got it.
What do you mean?
I wasn't in his office for 2 minutes, and he tried to lure me to his couch.
Pearl!
He does that with everybody.
Stop
He's a
it.
psychiatrist.
Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do.
Try to get himself cured.
Psychiatry is what he practices.
Well, he ain't gonna practice on Pearl.
Now then, Jethro, as I've already explained, sometimes we have hostilities and aggressions which are so deeply hidden from our conscious mind that they reveal themselves only in our dreams.
No,
Now,
they
please,
don't. That's
try
not
again
true.
To recall for me a few of your dreams.
Dreams can sometimes have very, very, very minor things, but it's usually in repeated dreams. And we dream every night. It's just we don't always remember them because our brains didn't latch onto those memories.
Long enough to have one.
Let's forget about the dreams and go back
There
to
is
your
nothing
conscious relationship with your family.
hidden in Jethro's id
That you
or
love your
subconscious.
mother, adore your grandmother, and worship your Uncle Jed. How do you feel about your cousin Ellie Mae?
Dr. Twombly, there is times when I'd like to whoop the tar out of that girl.
And just when is that?
When she whoops the tar out of me. Well, she's all the time wrestling me down, getting a toehold or an arm lock on me.
Yeah, she'll kick his ass.
Smart.
You mean to tell me that that beautiful and fragile-looking girl can engage you in combat and emerge victorious?
Oh, hell yeah.
No, sir. But she can whoop the tar out of me wrestling.
Engage a bear in combat and probably come out victorious.
You want revenge?
Yes, sir.
She disgraces you.
Yes, sir.
Shames you.
Yes, sir.
And you hate her.
You're goading him on.
Well, shucks, no. I'd cut off my right arm for her.
Oh.
Jethro, don't you hate anybody?
No.
Well, I'm commencing to get a mite put out with you. Giving me my certificate of help.
Yeah.
All right, Jethro. You take this note to Dr. Wilson across the hall, and he'll give you your certificate for school.
Thank you.
You see you, Jethro.
Oh, howdy, Mr. Drysdale.
Well,
Hey,
Jethro,
Mr. D.
You going in to see Dr. Twombly?
Briefly, yes.
Do you hate your mother? No. Well, don't tell the doctor. Seems to disappoint him something awful.
Yeah, as a psychiatrist, he should not be goading people into, like, giving into their rage. Rather, he should be working with them, understanding those feelings, not getting off to the idea of, oh, somebody finally hates somebody, thank God. Like, stop, dude, seriously.
And I have to agree. Your wife's doing fine. She's greatly improved.
Oh, really? You know, it's hard
That's
to
probably
believe
a
that
lie.
once she was worse than she is now.
Oh, I'm greatly indebted to both of you for putting me in contact with that wonderful Clampett family.
Fascinating, aren't they?
Remarkable. Jethro is the most uncomplicated teenager I've ever met.
Well, the whole family's uncomplicated.
Yeah, they're straightforward people. Straightforward, happy people.
I'm proud of it.
You're just the man to get me back
That's
in there.
sweet, Mr. D.
Oh, what happened?
Jethro's mother misunderstood my invitation to the couch. I'm persona non grata up there.
Well, you just come with me. I can fix that.
Wonderful. I'm especially anxious to question Granny. That little woman is a walking encyclopedia of mountain medicine, superstition, and phenomena.
An
She
attempt
absolutely
to
fascinates
clear up
Hi, dingy Ellie Mae. You're prettier than a red-winged blackbird sitting on a yeller pumpkin.
Thank you, Granny. Thanks for a dress that does it.
God, I hate trying to type on this while it's running something else because for whatever reason it's super slow.
I put a lot into that dress. Ellie Mae puts considerable into it herself.
Ellie Mae, Miss Jean here's got a right dandy idea. She wants to take you out shopping for some other dresses.
Yeah, take Ellie Mae out for shopping.
Your hackles up, Pearl. I reckon
What
she
is
wants
the-
to save this one for best.
Miss Hathaway hasn't taken Miss Hathaway hasn't taken Ellie Mae out shopping since like they first moved to Beverly Hills, as far as I remember.
Be back before 3.
Well, do we have to, Paul?
Well, you don't want to get caught out in the rain in that dress. That's when you said it was going to come down, wasn't it, Granny?
It's going to start to shower at 3 o'clock.
Granny, it isn't. Never mind. Come on, Ellie Mae.
Granny, maybe I ought to ride into town with them and stop off at Dr. Twomley's office. See what's happened with Jethro. Pearl, don't throw yourself at that gold
Yeah,
doctor.
so you're mad at him for supposedly making advances at you, yet you keep throwing yourself at him because you're so boy crazy that you don't care about what other people think or what other people do. You just want to get at them, but if they supposedly make advances at you, which Dr. Twombly did not, then you get all upset at them. So what do you don't think before you act, Pearl? I said it before, and I'll say it again. Don't think about anybody else but yourself. You're selfish, Pearl. You're selfish. You're a terrible, terrible, selfish woman. I'm surprised that Jethro and Jethreen have put up with you for as long as they have. If Jethro still lived with you, he would probably be frustrated as heck. But thankfully, Jethro started living with Jed and Granny and them here in Beverly Hills, so he got some sort of escape from her for at least a little bit.
Hold it to your heart and you say the magic words. Granny, I don't know how to do it. I'll show you. Now you watch. Darling, darling, my true love, come a-swooping like a dove.
Oh, Granny! Granny! There's somebody here to see you. Granny, I couldn't...
Isn't that the chant that Granny had Miss Hathaway say, and then Jethro came running in?
Toads and buzzards, that's so mean. Switch the spell to Pearl Bodine.
Oy, oy, oy.
Mr. Clampett, you don't understand. I
Just calm down, Dr. Plumby. Over here and sit on the sofa while you get a grip on yourself.
Sit on the sofa.
Getting back to the bank, Gene. I see you're in good hands.
No, Milburn. What's going on? Explain it to me.
D, explain the behavior of these uncomplicated people. To
Yeah.
Beverly Hills' leading psychiatrist.
No, Milburn, wait.
There's no explaining to do
My wife at the beauty shop.
about, like, their personality or their ideals.
Forecast says clear.
The only explaining they...
So long, scientist.
Yeah. You'll learn. You'll learn. Granny's twinges will tell you when there's rain.
Clampett, I am perfectly all right. All I want to do is see Granny.
I know that, but
Yeah, Granny don't want to see you.
So she can break the spell.
Yeah.
What spell?
The one she threw it on you by accident.
Love spell she threw on
I'd
you.
like to talk to her about it.
You would, but just simmer
It's
down.
mighty neighborly, but I don't think Granny would like that very
I
kindly.
told you that love charm would work twice as powerful on these Beverly Hills men.
I can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
I tried to switch it over to you, but it had too strong a hold on him. I'll have to break the spell now with my letting go powder, and then start all over for you.
Now, understand me, I don't blame you for the way you feel. Ain't no finer women growed in the whole world than in the hills back home. Now, you take my cousin Pearl.
What are you doing, Granny? Are you gonna, like, throw something at him? They can both see you, Granny.
Powder, powder, white as snow, make the spell of love let go.
Granny just gave him anthrax poisoning.
Oh, Granny, wait, what did you do to me? Come back. I want to talk to you. Granny, please.
Granny, looks like the spell ain't broken.
Never seen a man held so tight in the grip of love.
Gotta remember, this feller's a psychiatrist to start with.
Yeah, he's a Freudian psychiatrist, so he might as well be what Judd thinks
Now,
he
stay
is.
right where you are, Doctor. I'll bring Granny in to see you just like I promised, and Pearl, too.
And there's Pearl.
Fetching as a fat hog on market day.
You look like you're wearing the same clothes you wore yesterday, Pearl.
Granny.
And look mighty stupid on you.
Doggy, you scare away vultures.
I do appreciate this, Granny.
Me too. Come on.
I'm glad to get rid of the rascal. Why, they must be 30, 40 years difference in our ages. At least.
At
I'm
least.
about to get mixed up in one of them May and December courtships.
Oh, Granny.
Here they are.
Bonjour, Monsieur Doctor.
I like Granny's little hand movements there.
You didn't let... I never got... You didn't let...
For a professional psychiatrist, you should know that you're not supposed to chase down patients. First off, Granny isn't even your patient.
I got him settled down. I think I found his weak spot, Pearl.
What's that?
He's mighty fond of music. Come on in, yodel for him.
Kid, I just can't bust out yodeling.
The last man she yodeled for was Mr. D, and they gave Mr. D like
Get
PTSD.
his mind off Granny.
So,
Me too, Pearl. I'm getting all...
I wonder how well that would
young
work.
Feller are chasing me. Why, there must be 20 years difference in our ages.
At least.
Yeah, don't antagonize her, Judd.
Dingy's Daisy, it was your love charm that got him started. But maybe it's your own charm that keeps him going.
Aw. You're a sweet woman, Granny.
Did I ever tell you about my cousin Pearl here being an extra fine cook and housekeeper?
Yes, you did.
Did I tell you about her dressmaking?
Yes?
Sock darning and shirt mending?
Yes.
I'm sure Jethro told him too.
Speaking of yodeling. At least, Pearl.
Oh my God. When Mr. D heard it, he broke down into tears and tried to throw himself out the window.
Got any requests?
Yes, I'd like to see Granny.
That's a nice dress, Granny. It's definitely better than anything Pearl wears.
I'm back at school, Granny.
Hey, Jethro. You made it back into school. Hell yeah.
Ain't you spruced up?
Quieten down, boy. There's company in the parlor.
Oh.
Doc, Dr. Twombly.
So that's how come you so fancy, dressed up and smelling with vanilla extract. He's right taken with you, Granny. He's been asking me a lot of questions about you.
Don't be silly. Why, there's at least 5 or 10 years difference in our ages.
How many?
At least.
Wait, it's gonna start to rain.
Don't goad her on too, Jethro.
Scoop when I tell you.
It's a mighty nice dress there, Granny.
Oh, here you are, Granny. Thank goodness. At last, maybe we can be alone together for a little while. I've got so much to talk to you about.
Before we begin, I want to remind you that I ain't no spring chicken.
I couldn't care less. I'm glad you're the age you are.
Well, you ain't exactly just hatched out of the egg yourself.
So much the better. Gives us more in common.
Well, as long as you got your eyes wide open, let's go into the parlor.
No, wait. I've got a better idea. We'll only be interrupted.
Pearl's probably still in the parlor, yeah.
We'll go for a drive. We can talk much better that way.
Is that your car out front with no top on it?
Yes, I always take the top off this time of the year.
Well, we can't go driving because it's going to start to rain.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
No, I say it is.
Granny's got
I heard the
twinges.
news on the way over. The weather forecast is for clear skies.
Yeah, but Granny's twinges say otherwise.
It's going to start to shower any minute.
No,
Yeah.
it isn't.
No, I say it is.
What makes you think so?
I've been reading the signs.
What signs?
The way the ants is banking the dirt up in front of their holes. And the owl is hooting close to the house during the day.
Fascinating. Come on. You can tell me all about it while we drive around.
So Granny's got other signs to tell the weather aside from just her bone twinges.
It isn't going to rain.
You are the muliest goomer of a doctor I ever did see.
A goomer? What does that mean?
I knew this would happen if we stayed here.
Leave him be, Jed. We's old enough to know what we's doing. Besides, he's got to get his car under cover before the rain hits.
It isn't going.
Goomer just brings up,
Now,
like,
look, let me show you.
characters from TV shows.
Look.
I think that's...
Did you ever
Ooh.
see such a clear blue
In the
sky
idioms
such a-
dictionary, goomer is slang for someone who is unsophisticated and or cloddish.
Rain clouds.
Huh. And guess what? Yeah. Are you guys just locking him out?
That poor fellow's going to get soaked, but I reckon a cold shower won't hurt him none. Might even broke the love spell you throw it on him, Granny.
Oh, I don't care about that no more. Things wouldn't have worked out between him and me no way.
Well, what do you mean?
He's too old and set in his ways.
Yeah, don't say anything, Jed. Just let her. Episode 35. 2 more left. Let's do this, y'all. I think, right? Yep. 2 episodes left of the series, or the season, rather. I don't know what I'm saying, because I'm kind of tired. I've been up all day since... I can't even improv anything right now.
I'm a Benny Rooster for something. I sure do, Ellie. I just
Is that the
heard
rooster
Jane
that you
Hathaway is
taught
sick
to...
of it, and I wanna cook her up a
that you
nice
taught
big
to
pot of
play dead,
chicken
Ellie Mae?
Oh, that's not... Granny, you ain't fixing to cook Earl. Oh, of course not, Ellie. But I figured you could turn him loose in the neighborhood, and he just might bring home a plump little hen. Good-looking little fella here, Earl.
Oh, Granny, I don't reckon Earl wants you to cook none of his sweethearts neither.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you're right. Just turn him loose outside. And if a chicken hawk shows up, Jethro can bag him. They make awful good broth if you simmer them long enough.
Jethro tells me Miss Jane is ill and you're fixing to doctor for her.
That's right, Jed. Trouble is, I don't know for sure just what she's got. What she told you, Jethro?
She's got something called sick benefits. Yes, sir. Well, I called her apartment this morning to find out could she come to supper tonight. And she says, I'm sick in bed, Jethro. And I says, well, Granny will come on over and doctor you. And she says, well, you tell Granny there's already a doctor on the way because I got sick benefits.
I bet it's something like a sick headache or maybe a sick stomach.
I reckon it's worse than that, Ellie, because this is catching.
Is that a fact?
Yes, sir. Miss Jane says pretty near everybody that works down at the bank has got sick benefits.
Because they don't wear ass-affinity bags.
Seems to me like Mr. Drysdale got himself a heap of trouble down to the bank.
Is Mr.
Really?
Drysdale sick too, Jethro?
No, I asked Miss Jane that. And she says the executives, that's the higher-ups, like the vice presidents, they don't have sick benefits.
Probably because they
So they
eat
can't
better
take sick
and they
days.
Get more rest. And they wear ass-affinity bags around their neck.
Well, I reckon we all ought to pitch in and help Mr. Drysdale.
I reckon.
Mighty short-handed down to the bank.
Yeah.
I can help count the money. Arithmetic is my best study in school. I'm up to 12 times 12 now.
How much is 12 times 12, Jethro?
Yeah, Jethro.
Wait a minute.
How much is 12 times
Okay, now
12?
hold up 2 fingers. Okay. 12 times 1 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 12 times 3 is 36.
Never mind, Jethro. We're all right proud of you, but right now we all better hurry down to the bank, see how we can help Mr. Drysdale. Come on, everybody.
Attaboy, Jed.
I'll go in first, the rest of you wait
Mr.
here.
D is having
We don't know how
issues
catching that sickness
the
is.
bank and
By the way,
visit.
How can you do this to me? Now, you know the bankers' convention is in town, and I'm making the keynote speech. Well, you haven't finished writing it for me. Now, listen, couldn't you come in today and be sick tomorrow? 103 fever.
Oof.
Well, I'll turn on the air conditioning.
That's not funny, Mr. D.
Dr. Murphy, I know him. He's trying to make a big thing out of this so he can collect a big fee. Oh, fine, Doctor. I knew you were there. That's why I made it.
Mr. D, you're a good man, but don't force your employees to come in when they're sick, even if it is an important day.
Keep her in bed. Goodbye, Doctor. Come in.
Hi there, Mr. Drysdale.
Mr. Clampett, hello. What can I do for you?
Well, I reckon right now is
What can I do you for?
We heard about all the sickness.
Oh, don't let that concern you.
Anything you need.
No, nothing except a secretary, a new doctor, a speechwriter, and someone to take over my work.
For a fellow with all them troubles, you sure keeping your spirits up.
Well, I try to keep laughing so I won't cry.
Oh, I know that feeling, Mr. D. I know that feeling.
Oh, howdy, young feller. You want to see Mr. Drysdale?
Yeah.
Come in, come in.
Who's that?
No, not today. Now, leave me alone.
See you later, Mr. Drysdale.
Yes, and thank you so much.
Just be neighborly.
Who was that? Never mind him. Who are you?
Oh,
yeah.
The other day when I started to work here, Mr. Drysdale, I'm the new teller trainee. My name is...
What do you want?
So I noticed that you were without a secretary, and, well, I thought I might be able to help.
You take shorthand?
How
I
so?
don't mean me, sir. However, there is someone from the secretarial pool that I'd like to recommend.
Oh? Who?
Well, the chick, the young lady at the first desk, I believe her name is Kitty Northcross.
The one that wears the tight sweaters?
Yeah. Does she?
What a
I
creep.
observed her efficiency.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Skipper.
Who?
Well, sir, I just got out of the Navy, and I like to consider this bank my new ship, and you my new captain. And I'm proud to be aboard, sir, because I know
Oh,
that
God.
you're a genius.
It's one of these
Powered this
characters.
ship of finance through the reefs of adversity and the stormy seas of competition until we drop anchor in the harbor of success.
Bilgewater.
Thank you, sir.
Ay, ay, ay.
And now to continue my speech. Gentlemen,
Creep
it is my
works
observation
for
that
Mr.
the
D
bank is
and
like a ship.
recommends
the captain. It's his
secretary.
responsibility to pilot that ship through the reefs of adversity and the stormy
Don't believe
seas
his
of
bowl,
competition
Mr. D. Mr.
until he
D.
drops anchor
God.
in the harbor of success. At this point, take a sip of water and wait for applause.
Oh, good, Ellie. You're all ready. We best be getting down to the bank quick as we can.
Well, Pop, do you reckon I know enough to be a banker's secretary?
Sure.
Oh, why not, Ellie
Especially
Mae?
since I'm going to be the banker.
Oh, Drysdale takes it?
Well, he had to speak at a convention. He says all he needs is a secretary, a speechwriter, a new doctor, and somebody to do his work.
Granny's a dandy doctor, but who can write speeches?
Well, Jethro found one
Pearl,
the book
maybe?
already wrote. He's in there helping
Oh.
Granny now mix medicine for Miss
Jethro,
Jane.
that's plagiarism, bud. As much as I love you, I can't condone plagiarism. Then again, Jethro probably doesn't know what that is.
Now my
So,
secret yarb.
I don't know if I can really count that as an offense against him. What are you making, Granny?
Don't stand too close to it while it's working, Jethro.
That'll cure Miss Jane, huh, Granny?
It'll cure anything. I gave it to a sick horse one morning. That afternoon, he won a race.
You doctored a racehorse?
No, plow horse. He never raced before.
Jethro? Pa says let's get it going.
Come on, Ellie. You got your speech with Mr. Drysdale?
Yes, ma'am. One of the greatest speeches ever wrote. 7 years ago, brought forth to this continent and two nations, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
My dingies, that's a dandy speech. I'm proud of you.
Wait, hold up.
Abraham Lincoln, the president that whooped the South.
South was not whooped.
Hey, Granny's not gonna like that.
He did not. General Lee figured that Grant was a blacksmith, and he handed him his sword so he could sharpen it. And don't you ever forget it.
Granny, I love you, but that's just not
And
right.
so, gentlemen, in conclusion, let us think of our banks as a great fleet of ships rescuing the army of
Oh my
American
God.
citizens from
What
the
are you
Dunkirk
doing, you
of
absolute
financial difficulty.
sleazeball?
Let us take them aboard and safely sail them back to the shores of prosperity. Gentlemen, floor my arms.
Beautiful, Skipper. Just beautiful. Listen, the door was open and your voice drew me in here like a magnet.
door was not
I'll go to the
open.
convention with you and hear the entire
You went
speech.
in
No, you cannot.
without his permission.
Well, you're pretty idle yourself. Now get back to your cage and do the work.
What a
Nice,
voice.
Mr. D.
Sir, you were born to command. In the Navy, you'd have been an admiral.
Well, I was in the Army. Corporal in the Quartermaster Corps.
Great outfit, sir. Backbone of the armed forces.
Get back to work.
That voice.
Care
You
to
and
help
General MacArthur.
Mr. D
Legends.
while Creep continues to bother him.
Where did personnel dig up that nut?
I don't know, Mr. D. I don't know.
General Drysdale. Oh, hello, Margaret. What?
It's Mrs. D.
You want me to pick you up at the beauty shop when? But, dear, you know I'm making the keynote address at the bankers' convention. Oh, all right, darling, I'll cut it short. Will you stay out of here, you nut?
Oh, hey, guys.
Sorry, I thought it was someone else. I'm terribly upset today.
That's why we's all pitching in to help. Ellie here's going to take Miss Jane's place while Granny gets her well.
No, you don't have to do that.
Oh, it's no more than any neighbor do.
Well, I do appreciate your kindness. I'm running late, so please make yourself comfortable. See you later.
Oh, Mr. Drysdale, here's your speech.
Oh, I did forget it, didn't I? Thank you, Jethro.
You're welcome.
Well, goodbye, all, and thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah,
Gone,
Jethro.
Pa. Reckon you in charge now.
Are you going to
You're a
take his
sweet
place,
kid, but
We're going to try.
Just sit down to your desk and go to
oh,
bank.
you got a lot to
I wanna
learn,
see
buddy.
How you doing?
Me too.
You banking yet, Pa?
Well, I reckon not, Ellie. I'm just waiting to bank.
How do you do it, Uncle Jet?
Well, according to Mr. Drysdale,
Well.
banking is mostly giving people money when they need it.
I'll get it, Pa. That's what a secretary's supposed to do. Howdy, this here's Mr. Drysdale's office. But Mr. Clampett's in charge now.
don't say it like
Yes,
that, Ellie
sir,
Mae.
you
They're
bet
going to
you
think it was
can.
some sort of coup.
Howdy there. You need money? Come right on over and get it.
Hot diggity, he's banking now, man.
Ah, Chad. Ellie Mae ain't gonna put up with this goober stuff. What are you doing, you creep?
Gee, Mr. Billington.
Just call me Bob, doll.
Was this going to be my new office?
No.
Bob Doll?
Could be, honey. I've been speaking to Milburn about you.
Milburn?
The president, baby, the president.
Oh, Mr. Drysdale.
Had a girl, oink.
Ew.
Just a term of affection,
That's
doll. It means
gross.
I'm a hog about you.
Oh, that's cute.
No, it's not.
Think.
Swell. Now, listen, about tonight, this apartment where you live, can you cook there?
Well, I don't know. I've never tried.
You have a stove?
I think so.
Well, how about a can opener?
Oh, I know we've got one of those. I used it the other night to open a bottle of wave set when we did our hair. Mother and me.
Your mother lives with you?
No, I live with her.
Is there something wrong with that, Bobby boy?
Rescuing the Army of American
Sure.
citizens from the
Absolute
Dunkirk
creep.
of financial difficulty. Let us take them aboard.
That's enough, Jethro. No wonder Mr. Drysdale needed himself a speechwriter. That's pitiful.
Oof.
I didn't understand it.
Me neither, and I'm a banker.
Well, I reckon I'd best get out to Miss Hathaway's desk. But I ain't sure I know what to do.
Well, just watch others, Ellie, and do like them. That's the way we learn.
Yes, sir, Pa.
Don't, you might want to go out there and help her a little bit, Judd.
Oh, we're going to set our hair again.
Well, hello there.
Hello there.
Oh, Ellie Mae.
Well, she's sitting at my desk.
Get lost, honey, huh?
But Bob, no. Oh, Mr. Billington.
Wait, in the vault.
Well, what about tonight?
In the-
Can I tell Mom you're coming by?
Not tonight, honey. I don't need my hair set.
What an absolute sleazeball. Ugh. Gross.
Hey.
See, Ellie Mae knows how to whistle.
It's gonna be wild. Tell me something. You don't live with your mother, do you?
No, sir, do you?
Live with her pa and her granny.
Ellie may clamp it.
Well, there it is, Ellie, and you may clamp it. You don't
Get him, Ellie.
just wrestle at night, do you?
Oh, I like to wrestle anytime.
Scooby-Doo.
Well, Scooby-Doo, you want to wrestle now?
Later, baby, later. Listen, suppose I drop over to your place tonight.
Beat his ass, Ellie Mae.
Fine.
You haven't got a roommate, have you?
No, sir, I got a room all to myself.
Now, listen, here's the action. I swing by your pad about 7. I bring some Bossa Nova records, and we trample a few grapes, huh? Then we blast off
What?
to a local coffee shop, one where they don't hit me for too much bread. Then we swing back to your pad for a little moon orbit. Do you dig?
Oh, yes, sir.
Crazy.
Whenever Pa goes fishing.
I understand slang for the most part, like older slang.
You wouldn't put me on, would you?
I caught like one part out of that being bread, as in money.
Show myself, but Jethro can do it.
Who's Jethro?
Yeah, Ellie Mae?
This little fella wants to be put on some.
Okay. Where would you want me to put you, Milton? Oh, I'd like to be put on your list of friends.
Hey, you don't want to mess with Jethro.
He ain't here.
I got it, Ellie Mae. Howdy there. This is Jed Clampett speaking. Can I do some banking for you? Oh, howdy, Miss Drysdale. You want to get picked up over to the beauty shop? Well, I can send Jethro right over in the truck. No, your husband ain't here. He's over to the bankers' convention making a speech Jethro give him.
And now, gentlemen, it's with a great deal of pleasure that I introduce
That's a lot
our
of
keynote
people.
speaker, the distinguished president of the Commerce Bank of Beverly Hills, Mr. Milburn Drysdale.
Hey, my boy.
Fellow bankers,
Creep hits
7 years
on
ago, our
Ellie
father on
Mae.
this continent, a new nation.
Creep hits on Ellie Mae
Some
and
of you
Mr.
seem to be
D.
amused because I have chosen the humble words of Abraham Lincoln to keynote this convention.
You can do this, Mr. D.
But those of you who understand banking at its highest level will understand the
Mr. D
significance of these words as I say,
improvises
conceived in liberty
his speech.
and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
Hey, Mr. D. Good enough, man.
Paul?
Fairly better than I could have done.
The man that called you about borrowing money.
Well, howdy there, Mr. Wilson. I'm pleased to meet you. Sit down a spell.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Hey, have a smoke?
Yes, thank
Hey, maybe Mr. Wilson like a nice cold pitcher of spring water or some coffee or tea or something.
Would you, Mr. Wilson?
No, thanks, young lady.
You look all tuckered out.
Yes, I am. I've been going from bank to bank trying to borrow some money.
Didn't they have none?
Well, none that they wanted to loan me. You see, Mr. Clampett, my chicken ranch is mortgaged to the hilt. I've no credit, no collateral. I need money to buy feed.
Oh, we got a vault full of it. How much money
See if I just had enough. Are you kidding me?
Ellie Mae, take him out the vault and show him the money.
No. Would you really lend me the money?
Well, that's what banks is for, ain't it?
Of course.
Well, yes, but I'm poor. I have no security.
Ain't no shame being poor as long as you're honest.
Yeah, you know that for a fact,
Well,
Judd.
if you wasn't, you'd be telling me about how much you got instead of how much you ain't got.
Yeah.
Mr. Clampett, I've never met a banker like you before.
Oh, shucks, Mr.
Judd
Drysdale can
does
outbank me any day in the
good
week.
as
Must be a
a
wonderful man.
You bet he is the best banker
sympathetic
around here. Now, how
banker,
much money would you like to have?
although not
I
secure
I really
with
need
money.
$5,000, but I can squeeze by on 3
Only?
Ellie Mae, go fetch this man $5,000.
Sir, Paul.
Bring him a cup of that cider that Granny sent down to ward off sick benefits. Talking if he don't look like he's coming down with it.
Now for my secret yarb.
What is your secret yarb, Granny?
Oh, I dasn't tell you, Jethro. Why, if that was to ever fall into the hands of the enemy, the North could win the war.
Told you, Granny, they done won it.
No, we's just laying back letting them think they did. One of these days when they ain't looking...
We're not getting into this right now, Granny.
You gotta believe me, the South done got whooped.
You go cut me a hickory switch.
So she can switch you.
And I'll show you who got whooped.
That's another thing I keep telling you. We ain't got no hickory tree and no woodshed.
Yeah, there's Are there hickory trees in Beverly
I
Hills?
guess I'm getting old and feeble.
Yes, ma'am.
Hell, open your mouth and close your eyes.
She'll just have to whoop you like this, Jethro.
Oh, good.
Are you getting him some tonic, Granny?
Swallow that. That'll keep you well and learn you not to talk Yankee nonsense.
Did you just put like molasses or something in his mouth? Or is it your sick tonic, Gran? What did you give him, Granny?
Hey, Doc.
Ugh.
Some square put the bite on your old man for a gang of bread. Well, he laid $5,000 on him.
Oh, you mean Mr. Wilson?
That's a cat. How'd he get it?
Well, he told Paul he needed it for his chickens.
You're kidding. What would chickens do with all that money?
Oh my
Mr.
God.
Wilson to buy feed. He's got a chicken ranch.
Remember, kids, being slick don't necessarily make you smart.
Well, sure, Paul's got 35 million.
35 million?
And he likes folks that raises critters.
Do you think he's got time to see a young critter raiser?
No.
Well, sure, go on in.
I'll dig you later.
And what kind of critters do you raise, young man?
Mr. Clampett, sir, my name's Bob Billington, and your lovely daughter told me that you could spare me a few moments of your valuable time.
You bet I will, young fella. What's on your mind?
Well, sir, I work here at the bank, but my heart's back on the ranch. The chicken ranch. Or was, until I lost all of my chickens. Sweet little critters.
How'd you lose?
Well, sir, I'm not sure. I just woke up one morning and they were gone. I guess one of them left the gate open.
What kind of chickens was it?
Just regular.
They got
you know,
eaten
with
by
the wings and
coyotes
the
or
feathers,
something.
Those crazy-looking feet. Mr. Clampett, if I could just borrow $10,000, then I could get back into the business that I love, raising
$10,000, you creep.
I see. How many chickens you want to start with?
Oh, about $10,000 worth.
How many roosters?
Get out of Mr. Clampett's office.
These days, you gotta specialize.
I will reach. Hey, Mr. D, save
Wilson,
us.
Did a man named Wilson come in here to borrow some money?
Yes, sir, and Pa gave him $5,000.
Oh, bless him. That's what did it.
Did what?
Got me named Banker of the Year.
Aw.
They're putting a plaque in the lobby calling this the Bank with a Heart.
How come?
Well, 6 banks were secretly nominated for the honor. Wilson went to each bank and
Oh.
Poor man needed it.
Wilson? Oh, he's the biggest poultry rancher in the world and a stockholder in all 6 banks.
Ah.
Is your
So he was a mystery
wonderful
shopper.
father still in there?
Yes, sir.
How about it, Mr. Clampett?
I'm going to give you just what you need.
Great, lay it on me.
Good old whipping. Yeah.
Get back to your job and forget about chickens.
You were born to command, sir. The voice of authority, the greatest I've ever heard.
What about me?
You are the only one who cuts him, Skipper. What a privilege it is for a young fella like me to see
What a
two
slag.
great leaders together. It's a summit meeting, recreated.
Out of my office, out of my bank. You're fired. You're an irresponsible loafer.
May I give you as a reference, sir?
No.
Pleasure having served under your command, sir.
Granny, this here's Mr. Billington, and he wants to court me.
Is that true, young fella?
If ever love it is, Granny.
And you got sick benefits?
Loaded with them.
Open your mouth and close your eyes, and he'll give you a little surprise. Follow this.
Hey, you know something? When I was in the Navy, I tasted some jungle juice on Okinawa.
No! Good-looking young fella.
Yeah, get him, Granny.
I reckon that's the new dance he's been going to teach me. It's called the Bossy Nova.
They always get their comeuppance. They always get their comeuppance. Jethro's Friend. Last episode of Season 1.
Granny, you out here?
I'm over here, Jed.
Granny, is that you?
Shucks, no, Jed. I got prettier feet than that. Prettier drumsticks, too.
Well, them is them fancy towels Mr. Drysdale give us.
He says they're beach towels, but we use them right here.
Granny, we've got company coming, and I reckon you'd like to get some victuals going.
Who's coming?
Well, one of them rich, high society Beverly Hills fellows named of Armstrong Doozer McHugh III.
The third what?
Third Armstrong Doozer McHugh, I reckon.
Yeah.
You mean
I
to
mean,
tell me
Jed's
that
not
them
wrong.
McHughes
That's
named
what the
all
third
three
stands
of their
for.
young'uns the same name?
I think that's it.
Hell, it's none of my business. But dogged if I can see where Armstrong Doozer is such a good name.
Kind of confusing, too. I reckon that's why they call him first, second, and third.
Yeah.
This feller get acquainted with us.
Well, he ain't yet. Jethro invited him over here to meet us, but between you and me, I think it's Ellie Mae he wants to meet.
Yeah, probably.
Jethro's always bragging about his pretty cousin.
I told her there's a fella coming over to meet her, and she promised to put on her prettiest dress.
Well, when that Armstrong Doozer gets a look at Ellie, he's gonna forget what number he is.
Over here, Ellie.
Hey, Ellie Mae.
Ellie Mae Clampett, there is a fella coming to see you.
Well, what's wrong, Pa? I put on my prettiest dress.
Yeah, she's carrying around her friend. Like,
Look at your feet. Ain't got no shoes on.
so?
Well, I'll go put them on.
Come back, Ellie. I just can't think of no quicker way to kill a romance than to meet a feller toting a skunk in your arms.
If I met a girl that was carrying a skunk, I'd probably be, like, super interested, or at least want to find out why she was carrying the skunk. Because there are some places you can have skunks as pets. That'd be rad.
Jed, here he comes.
Are you sure it's him, Granny? It looks an awful lot like Mr. D's car.
Is this the Clampett residence?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
He's older than I figured.
And wearing a uniform.
Jethro didn't see he was in the Army.
It's all right, Jed. It's Confederate grade.
Jeez,
Hey,
Granny.
I'm Jed Clampett. This here is Granny, and I reckon you must be Armstrong Doozer McHugh III.
The second?
No, ma'am.
That explains him being older. He's the first. Jethro Armstrong's here.
Sir, you don't understand.
You're his chauffeur. Okay, yeah, because Jethro's in the 5th grade. Yeah.
Well, howdy there, Armstrong. I'm afraid you're mighty young for Ellie.
Sir, I'm here to play with Jethro. We're classmates in the 5th grade.
Granny, shake hands with Armstrong Doozer McHugh III.
Is this the first, like, child we've actually seen?
Mighty big spread of years between the first and the third.
This be the second. It'd be just about right for Ellie.
Big Jethro!
Oh, please,
Hey.
sir, please. Master Armstrong is very delicate.
Jethro won't hurt me. He's my friend.
But you might get a nosebleed at that altitude. Master Armstrong is under the care of several specialists. He's very sickly.
Wilkins, please.
Last week we had nurses around the clock.
Even got a sick clock.
Master Armstrong, please. You're not to get excited. Would you like a tranquilizer?
No.
Come on, everybody. Let's go in the house.
I got some victuals cooking.
Sounds like it's Mrs. Drysdale's son.
I must go in the house before Master Armstrong.
I'm sorry about Wilkins, but he has his orders.
Yeah, we get it, Army. If he's so sickly, just give him a few minutes with Granny. Granny will fix him right up.
What in the Sam Hill are you doing?
This is an allergy spray.
He ain't got no allergies.
Master Armstrong has several.
And spray him.
Understand, this spray settles the dust in the room.
There ain't no dust, pearl dust every
Why,
day.
if you weren't wearing the uniform that I dearly love, I'd ram this down your throat and reach in and push the button.
Granny, calm
Yeesh.
down.
Well, I just mopped and cleaned in here just this
No
morning.
comment, Granny.
Madam, the air is filled with minute particles invisible to the naked eye.
I don't see them.
Hope you brought your swimsuit, little doozy. We got a dandy big cement pond here.
Oh, I'm afraid I don't know how to swim.
Oh, Jethro will learn you.
Oh, no. Master Armstrong's not allowed in the water.
No wonder he's got all them
Yeah, I didn't
allergies.
think that was how you spelled
A good
chauffeur.
hot bath with
I missed a
soap.
U.
That's what he
Not bad.
Lysol?
Lie soap,
Master
yeah.
Armstrong, I don't think I should leave you here.
Please, Wilkins.
Well, I'll take your temperature and blood pressure before I go.
No, Wilkins, I feel fine.
Oh, very well. With whom shall I leave the young master's schedule on rest, diet, medication, and telephone numbers of doctors?
Well, if it's anything to do with Doctor and Granny, here's the best.
Very well. There you are. Now then.
Granny's the best doctor there is.
Pills, tranquilizers, acid pills, anti-acid pills, vitamins, iron, liver, yeast extract, antibiotics. Open up, Master Armstrong.
I hate parents that treat their children like this.
Just a precautionary measure. to
Your
see that
child
fights off the
is not a
respiratory
petri
virus.
dish or a
That
test
rascal comes
tube.
around here, I'll fight him. Over to school, all the big fellas is always picking on little doozy.
Yeah.
Not when Jethro's around.
Oh, I almost forgot. The oxygen tent is in the car. Where shall I set it up?
Tent?
Yes, sir. Master Armstrong usually spends an hour a day in it.
Oh, you like camping, do you? I'll say he does. He's happy as a itchy pig rubbing against a real fence.
Pigs, I got some hog jowl stewing and a possum pie in the oven for this little feller's lunch.
Hell yeah.
Hog jowl.
Give him some good eating, Granny.
Pie? Do you intend to feed those things to Master Armstrong?
Of course.
Why, don't he eat that good at home?
Oh, he has an extremely delicate digestive system. At present, he's on a diet of special Swiss yogurt. We hunted all over Beverly Hills to find it.
Just because you
Get
got
out
a
your rifle
delicate
and knock down one of
digest.
them Swiss yogurts.
Just because you've got a delicate digestive system doesn't mean that you can't eat anything. Like, I don't know if they're going to set this up to be like the parents are just super overprotective of him,
It just,
or if he's legitimately this way. But even if he is actually like really fragile and sick, then...
Go away.
Hey, Ellie Mae. Hey,
Master
Duke.
Armstrong's allergic to all animals.
Oh, Duke. Get him, Duke.
Charlie got in the kitchen.
Oh, city fella,
Hey, Charlie.
I wouldn't do that if I was you. He might just...
Yes,
return the
yeah. You spray him, he might just return the favor. I think I vaguely remember this episode, although I might be thinking of another one. I just primarily remember Ellie Mae and the skunk.
Oh, I'm sorry. You've all finished.
Go right ahead and chuck it in there, young fella. Looks like you could use a little fattening up.
That's a fact. I throwed away chicken bones with more meat on them than he's got.
You want some more, little doozy?
Oh, no, thank you. It was most delicious. I'd like to tell Chef how to make that.
Who's Chef?
Oh, he's the fella that does the cooking over at Doozy's house.
A man in the kitchen?
Yeah, Granny. You ought to see him. Cooks in a great big white hat.
Well, the first thing to tell him to do is to get rid of the hat and do his cooking in
I'm
a
the
pot.
Yeah.
Well, how come your ma don't do the cooking, little doozy?
So I guess Jethro has been over to his house then.
Mother, I don't believe she knows where the kitchen is. On her rare visits home, I've never seen her there.
Visits home?
My mother and father spend most of their time traveling.
Oh, drummers, huh? What do you sell?
Oh, they don't work. They just travel.
How come?
I really don't know. I imagine they enjoy it.
Well, don't you miss your ma and pa?
Of
Oh, they
course.
write to me regularly, every month or two. I have a marvelous collection of foreign stamps, and they always telephone me on my birthday.
That's right, friendly of them.
That ain't no way to raise a
Who
kid.
looks after you, little doozy? Oh, mostly the governess. Governess?
Huh?
She's married to Wilkins.
Did you hear
Oh.
that, Granny? That fella that bring him over here is the governor.
That still don't give him no right to tell me I got dust in my house.
You folks have so much fun. I never even laugh at home.
Oh.
Well, little fella, anytime you feel like busting out laughing, you come right on over.
That's right neighborly of you there, Jed.
Promised to help me with my homework. He's the smartest kid in school.
Oh, I'd rather be able to swim and climb trees like you.
Well, you help me with history, and I'll teach you to swim and tree climb.
Yeah.
And I'll learn you wrestling, so as the big kids won't be picking on you. Oh, I'd like that. And perhaps I could assist you in some subject. How about English? Thank you, little doozy. But I done been learned to talk that. Kinda got a hankering for history, though. What you studying in that? At present, we're on the Civil War.
You mean the war betwixt the Yankees and the Americans?
Don't get Granny started there, boy.
Just a minute, Sonny. Who'd they learn you won that war?
Granny, these boys got study to do.
I want an answer to my question. Who's paying school taxes? And I want to know that they're learning our young'uns the truth. Now, who did
Oh, God, Granny.
the North or the South?
Oh, I wish I was in Dixie down
Every true student of history knows that glorious armies of that brilliant and beloved leader, General Robert E. Lee, were never really defeated.
Hallelujah, stay for something.
Ay, 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 Granny.
Hey, little doozy.
Ay,
Our
ay,
history
ay.
teacher over to school say that...
Oh, I wish I wasn't.
Yeah, catches on fast. He's a smart little one.
Smart little feller.
Yeah.
But I gotta learn him the right
You said
words
it, Granny.
to Dixie. I spoke to young Master Armstrong, and he told me to tell you that he ain't ready to go home yet. He's having too much fun.
Yeah.
He's not permitted to have fun. It's bad for his blood pressure.
Well, I'll
Well,
tell him
tough.
when he comes down out of the top of that tree.
He's in the tree.
Say, that little rascal can climb like a squirrel. Soon as his hands get toughened up, he'll be as good as Ellie Mae.
I insist upon taking him home immediately.
Well,
I
tough.
told you, he don't want to go home yet.
Yeah.
That makes no difference. He's going.
Oh, Granny.
I don't
Yeah.
want to tangle with no soldier in the Confederate grave.
This is not a Confederate uniform. Now remove your hand and lead me to Master Armstrong.
And if I don't?
I'll have to take him by force.
How you gonna do
Is
that?
a fact?
Like Grant took Richmond.
Oh.
I shall take him like Grant took Richmond.
That's what I thought you said.
Yeah. Yeah, Granny ain't gonna like that. Hey, Cheeto, is it? This research is for a series I do on my main YouTube channel. Basically, I look into the history and characters of like old television shows and write mini documentary series on them. It's called Primetime Preservation. I've done older shows in the past, like Gilligan's Island and stuff like that.
Have you tried Rome?
Not necessarily like super obscure. Sometimes they're mainstream.
Well, try Zermatt. Maybe they're climbing the Matterhorn. Well, try anyway. Maybe their hotel has a long extension cord. This is urgent.
Granny, don't.
I told you to ski that.
Call me back. My area code is 417 zone 328.
You ain't gonna have no area code once Granny's done with you, boy.
Never mind. I'll call you.
Granny's war theme is playing.
You didn't take a gun to the governor, did you?
He ain't no governor. He ain't even a Confederate. What's more, he ain't got all his turnips.
You mean he's touched?
He was a-sitting in his automobile pretending to be talking on the telephones.
I wonder how come so many of them kinds seem to wind up out here in California.
Well, apparently you have the greatest top-notch psychologist, even though he's a student of Freud. Hey, Miss Hathaway.
Sorry to interrupt, Chief, but Wilkins here has an urgent problem concerning young Armstrong Dewson McHugh III.
Oh, what is it?
Well, to fill you in, Chief, Armstrong Dewson McHugh III's father, Armstrong Dewson McHugh II, has appointed the bank executor of his will, administrator of his estate, and guardian of Armstrong Dewson McHugh III in case something should happen to Mr. and Mrs. Armstrong Dewson McHugh.
Well, to be fair, Mr. and Mrs. Armstrong are, like, never there anyway.
Has come to you in this crisis.
And why would your guardian be, like, your chauffeur?
I forgot. Oh, yes. Young Master Armstrong.
Was there a point to that joke?
Call the FBI.
What do you mean you forgot? There's no...
Who has it? A hillbilly family called the Clampetts.
Yeah.
J. Edgar Hoover, please.
Wilkins, the Clampetts.
I like to think that Miss Hathaway didn't actually dial anybody.
And the very salt of the earth.
Sorry, Chief. But, Mr. Drysdale.
I mean, she's not wrong.
Armstrong is extremely frail and delicate. And the Clampetts refuse
Says
to give him the
you.
proper food or rest
He's
or
a
medication.
young boy. You gotta give him room to grow.
Get the Clampetts on the phone. They won't harm the boy.
No.
But I'm afraid they already have. They've got him climbing trees and eating possum pie. Delicious.
Yeah,
But
it's
they're
great.
violent people. Granny threatened me with a shotgun.
If Mr. D and Miss Hathaway can get used to the
did you say
food,
about
then...
The South what?
Granny, J. Hathaway here. Could you call young Armstrong Dewson McHugh III to the telephone?
I don't hardly think so. He went out to the cement pond to swim.
Hey, Jethro's finally teaching him how to swim.
Nothing to worry about. Master Armstrong is in swimming.
But he doesn't know how to swim.
That's because Jethro's teaching him.
I don't know how to swim.
Oh, don't let that worry you, little doozy. We can learn anybody. Oh, heck, LMA even learned her cat.
Come on.
Yeah.
Look there.
Hey, Rusty.
Come on, Rusty. Did you have a good swim?
I still am not going to get used to seeing a normal cat
There's
swim
nothing to it.
anytime
Now,
soon.
you just watch me and do as I do. Come on, little doozy.
The longer and longer this episode goes, the more and more familiar it gets.
You got nothing to be afraid of. Why, LME is right here.
And Rusty, too. I'll do it if Big Jethro commands.
If I remember correctly, he's gonna biff it.
Jethro says dive in and swim.
There are only a select few episodes of the series that I remember, and I feel like this is one of them.
Look, Jethro, I'm swimming!
Hey!
Sure are, little doozy. You just done swum right out of your swimming suit.
To be fair, Jethro, it looked like it was a pair of your shorts and it was only tightened by a rope around his waist.
Out here so nobody won't get hurt none. Can you really teach me to defend myself against those big bullies at school?
Yeah, she can teach you a wrestle.
Come at me like you're fixing to hurt me. really ought to learn you from someone bigger than myself. Mr. Pullman?
Yes, Miss Clampett?
Would
Who's
you
that?
help us out for a minute, please?
Why, certainly. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm trying to learn this here young fella.
I know they have a maid, but I've never seen like a
Now,
pool
you
man.
come at me like you're fixing to hurt me.
Oh, I don't think I'd better. I was in the Marines, you know, and they taught us some pretty rough tactics.
You ain't gonna get no upper hand on Ellie Mae.
By any chance, were you in the 3rd Battalion?
No, but she very well could be. Oh.
Try that, little doozer.
It works!
I'll tell you what you can do. You whittle yourself a whole bunch of these, different sizes, tie them together side by each. You can play a real tune.
But I don't have a knife, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you promise to handle it real careful, like I showed you, safety first, don't cut yourself, you can have this one.
Gee, thank you, Uncle
I remember
Jed.
this part.
You know, by rights, I ain't your Uncle Jed, just Jethro's.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Mr. Clampett.
Oh.
Seeing as how you're such a good friend of Jethro's,
You can call him
you can
Uncle
call me
Jed.
Uncle Jed.
Yeah.
Now remember, Third, you gotta keep your eye on the cork. When the cork starts
There's no
bobbing
fish
around
in the
water,
cement pond,
then you
Granny.
know that a fish is nosing around the bait. And then, when the cork all of a sudden ducks under the water, then you know old Mr. Fish has grabbed the bait. And you pull him out.
Can I hold the line, Mrs. Granny?
Sure.
As long as you don't get pulled in, boy.
I caught something!
Oh,
Really?
you couldn't have. There's nothing in there. It smells like a whale. Help me!
Unless it's Jethro. Or Rusty? Or Ellie Mae? What is it? It's Jethro.
I figured I'd let little Lucy see what it was like to catch a big old catfish.
You hold it kind of loose this way, you bring your arm back, and just as you let it fly, you give it a little spin.
Yeah.
You watch.
Yeah.
Perfect ringer, Uncle Jed.
Yeah. Now, you try.
Whoop.
And you see how handy it is to be able to climb a tree?
Well, that's mighty impressive, too. Oh, thank God it's Mr. Oh, well, Mr. D's with that D.
Now, be of good cheer, Wilkins. I am confident that we shall find everything here in possum pot. Apple pie order.
Howdy, Mr. Drysdale. Well, Miss Jane, Mr. Wilkins, come on in.
Gonna bake a tater pie to give to little Dews. And it'll taste so good his toes will curl up in his shoes.
I remember this song, too.
A lot of possum fat. I don't think that feller chef can bake it in his hat.
Greetings, Granny.
Oh, Granny.
Thought I told you to secede from these parts.
Madam, I demand to see Master Armstrong immediately.
Don't wake him up. He's taking his nap.
Yeah, you see, he's getting his rest.
Needs it, too. Poor little feller's all tuckered out.
Which bedroom is he in?
He's napping right out there in the sun.
The
Yeah.
sun! His skin is far too sensitive to be exposed to ultraviolet rays.
Says who? Everybody's skin is sensitive.
He's allergic to animals.
Aw. Charlie's with him.
Wilkins, I'm not going home. I feel fine.
You're coming home and have an antiseptic bath and then spend
You
an
can't
hour
just
in
be
your
allergic to
oxygen
all
tank.
animals, as far as I know.
Not going.
Then I'll take you by force.
You will.
Like Grant took Richmond.
Show him. Yeah. Attaboy.
Master Armstrong.
I'll call you when I need you.
Maybe if you were a little bit more neighborly to him, he wouldn't have done that to you. Hey, Charlie.
Go away. Scat.
Remember what Granny said? You do that to him, he might do the same thing to you. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I wouldn't do that if I was...
Yeah. That's about as expected. Yeah. We tried to tell him, Jed. Wow. Hey. And with that, we are done with season 1, finally. And what a good episode to go out on. I mean, it just kind of wraps up every conception we already have of the Clampetts. They're good people. They're neighborly. They're compassionate. They're kind. They're understanding. They didn't care that the kid had all these supposed like weaknesses or whatnot, probably non-existent ones that were just listed because of his absent overprotective parents and chauffeur. Excuse me. But the Clampetts didn't treat him like a fragile little porcelain doll because of it. They still treated him like family. They treated him to food. They showed him how to swim. Ellie Mae taught him how to wrestle and defend himself from the bullies at his school that Jethro had to save him from. Now he doesn't have to constantly rely on Jethro. He can actually take care of himself, which puts him on a better footing, on equal ground with Jethro and as friends. Even Jed originally being like, oh, well, only Jethro has the right to call me Uncle Jed. And then seeing how much it meant to him to be able to call him that because they felt like legitimate family. So he allowed him to call him Uncle Jed. And then even Granny teaching him how to fish and Jethro pretending to be a catfish just so he could feel the experience of catching a real fish. The Clampetts are kind, genuine, caring people. And no matter how quote unquote backwards they may seem, they're still people and they're compassionate and understanding and caring. And throughout all 36 episodes of that first season, we have seen in one way or another, aside from Pearl, how caring the Clampett family can be, how endearing they can be to those around them, just because they have all this money and all this fancy stuff doesn't mean they necessarily understand it at all. So we get to see them learn and grow with the experience and begin to understand it bit by bit. And with that understanding, they just grow more and more compassionate because they understand that the people in Beverly Hills have been having to live with all this commotion for possibly their entire lives. And if the Clampetts can adjust to it, they sure as hell want to make sure that other people can adjust to it as well and be able to live their life to the fullest. Yeah, they've got their quirks that make them not so great characters nowadays, like Granny's fixation on the Confederacy and Jethro being painted to be dumb and Pearl's selfishness. But those minor character flaws, for the most part, can be overlooked because they're interesting, caring, genuine people. And with that, like I said, we're finally done with season 1. Season 2 has, let's see, only 19 episodes. It's a shame that only the first 2 seasons are in the public domain. But, maybe I gotta check and see what the date on Petticoat Junction and Green Acres is, but we might be able to stream those too. But, for right now, the stream's a little bit shorter than anticipated, but I don't want to get started with the beginning of season 2 only to get like 2 or 3 episodes in and have to pick up another day when we could go through a good majority of it tomorrow instead. So, yeah. With that, I may be appropriating it into our sign-off phrase, but, yeah, I'll come back now, you hear?